Welcome to Botching Up, the podcast where we are the local talent picked up for one night to job to the Monster Hill, and we just hope to get through our first national TV appearance without a single botch.
Nice.
You're with me, Benito, and my good pal Basil.
There you go. My good what?
My good pal.
You said pale,
What?
like water pale.
Oh, do I have to do it again?
No, it's fine. Carry it on.
Okay, so as usual, we'll be doing the weekly roundup of all major TV shows, as well as the final of New Japan's World Tag Team League. Then we'll do the predictions of Ring of Honor's final battle and SmackDown's Clash of Champions. What you got?
I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't listening to you. I just phased out within about a minute. You just became a voice. I wasn't hearing it. What did you say? Sorry.
What have you got on the podcast today? What are you up to?
What have you already said?
I said what I'm doing. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm doing the weekly roundup, right?
Yeah.
Then
I'm doing that too.
Then yeah, you'll be included in that. Then we'll be checking in with Billy Corgan, and then I'll be doing the fun news. What are you going to be doing?
I've got a very special edition of On This Day.
Okay.
You know why it's special?
No.
Because it's today.
Okay.
It's December the 13th, on this day.
Okay.
I've also got a little history lesson for you, which I'm currently branding The Vault.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. And then final, our feature of this episode will be, it was advertised as The Shield, but instead we're just going to argue for 3 hours about Roman Reigns.
Oh, we're doing Roman?
We're gonna do Roman. I think I need to explain to you the text message I sent you the other day about how we've chosen a bad era of wrestling to become wrestling commentators.
You've sounded really miserable over the last week.
It was a hard week of wrestling, I feel.
Yeah.
So, I need to explain my text. It wasn't saying that, oh, it's awful right now. It's that it's literally everything's mediocre currently.
I completely agree with you.
Nothing's awful, but nothing's great.
But if you go back and watch Attitude Era stuff, they had one really great thing. And then the rest of it was dreadful.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's necessarily that the content is any worse than it ever has been. I think it's more the fact that there's so fucking much of it. Yeah.
And the whole indie revolution, I feel, has gone a bit cold. So has the NXT revolution and the women's, all the revolutions.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of died, they've slowed. And last couple of months, everything's just been a bit mediocre.
I mean, back in the day, you had Raw, SmackDown, and TNA, maybe Ring of Honor to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got Raw, SmackDown, Main Event, 205, NXT, Ring of Honor, TNA, Lucha Underground. Everything's at your fingertips now.
Yeah.
Which it never used to be.
New Japan
Also,
World opens up so much.
Coming in February is 5-Star Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
Which is a British company that currently, for some reason, has John Morrison as their champion.
And they're going to be bigger than ICW or Progress?
I don't know. They've got a syndication on Free Sports.
Alright.
Which is more than
that sounds promising.
Anybody else can say.
The other thing we need to bring up before we go any further is this mixed... I don't know what it's
Mixed
called.
Match Challenge.
So that was announced today by Kurt Angle on Facebook.
About 2 hours ago. Kurt Angle looked like he just had a bottle of vodka.
Kurt Angle looks like a male adult version of Dora the Explorer. Like he's just face on to camera, just talking in a monotone voice. Like he doesn't really care. Like he doesn't even know what he's saying.
No, he's starting to resemble Flair to me.
Yeah, it wasn't even a script. I think someone was just holding up a billboard, a board to say what to say on screen.
Yeah, he definitely looks a bit physically and mentally wrecked. Like he's, they kind of wheel him in. Make him say something.
Say this, Kurt.
Give him a lollipop and wheel him out,
So what is it? So it's a mixed tag tournament?
I think it's a mixed tag tournament, yeah. Where you've got
Raw versus SmackDown.
It's a single elimination tag team tournament.
Okay. And it's going to be on Facebook Live, it's not going to be on Network.
No, and Braun Strowman is in it.
I don't know why this confuses you.
Because
Braun Strowman's a big deal.
Exactly. That's why it
you've got the women's champion involved in it.
Yeah, but the women's, sure.
You've got the cruiserweight champion involved.
Okay, maybe I'm being sexist here, but I would not throw Braun on a Facebook Live championship match.
If he doesn't win...
Well, you've got Goldust on the same team.
Yeah, well, Goldust is going to be... No, yeah, but it's not all one team, is it? They're all going to be... Goldust is the jobber.
I can see why Braun is there. He's the selling point, right? But I just don't feel like he needs to be involved in this. I think he's involved in this because they got nothing. They don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be involved. But anyway, so that's...
Are you going to watch that?
That's probably, but I have to.
Well, that'd be your show then, because I'm not.
Okay, let's go on to something that we both watched. NXT last week.
NXT, yes.
Let's start with NXT. So it opens up with a cold open of William Regal announcing a tournament to find a contender.
Yep.
That's that.
Well, it was good, simple booking.
It's
I like
easy,
the fact that they're laying stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a plus for me.
And then after the opening credits, we got Andre Alves' celebration with his very annoying manager. I don't like her.
She was in TNA for a while.
And but the only thing I remember from the segment is he screams, "I am the champion," for what feels like about 3 minutes.
I thought it was awful.
Yeah. It
was really, really weak. There was no charisma, there was no heat. He said nothing. As you said, he just said the same thing over and over again.
I don't think I'm going to enjoy this title reign.
He needs to do a lot better than that, because he's currently technically the figurehead.
Yeah.
This was pretty awful stuff.
I don't think it's going to last very long. So we go to a backstage segment with Lars Sullivan.
Oh.
I like the setup though, like the press outside.
You liked that?
Wait,
I hated that.
You didn't like it?
It's so lame and so obviously not real. They're at the back of a gym or something.
Yeah.
There's like 10 guys shoving in the face. Don't.
So I've forgotten what he actually said. Something about someone. He wanted to beat up someone.
Yeah, he's facing Adam Cole in 2 weeks. I think it might not be Adam Cole, but he's facing someone in the qualifying tournament.
Yeah. And okay, that was it. Killian Dane beats Trent Seven in what I thought was a pretty good match.
Decent big man match.
Yeah. Trent Seven looked great, even though he lost.
He did. It's a bit of a shame that they're not pushing him in his own right, but this was sort of made for one reason. It was to show domination, and I think they achieved that. Also, female ref.
Yeah, I was going to bring... Yeah, there's a female ref, which she needs to be on the main roster ASAP.
Why?
Because it's great. I love it.
Oh, I thought you saw like any special talent from her or something.
No, I just like the idea there's a female ref.
Oh, right, yeah.
But not gimmicks that she only books female matches.
Not Taryn Terrell, who became
she became like the official.
Yeah, this was okay.
So then we have an Undisputed Era promo hyping up all of the upcoming matches. And I feel like this is just there just so you don't forget them. They've been off TV a while. It's like, hey guys, we got matches coming up. Don't forget about us.
I like it. Throughout the whole show, they're building up qualifying matches and they're building up programs for the next 2 weeks. And it is actually Adam Cole versus Aleister Black.
Yeah, that'll be a good match.
I'm not sure who Lars Sullivan's facing at the moment. Can't remember.
He did tell us, but oh well.
Yep.
Followed by Sonya Deville beating Ruby Riott in a no-holds-barred match.
Yes.
Your opinions of this match will be very different to mine.
First of all, I really loved Nigel McGuinness on commentary. Because he hyped up the actual concept of a no holds barred.
Yeah.
Which I loved, because you watch no holds barred matches from the last 10 years, they just turn into spot fests.
Mm-hmm.
They're like a synonym for hardcore matches.
Yeah.
Whereas McGuinness was literally saying, this is about holds and no rope breaks, and they played into that in the match. I thought it was really good.
The match played that up really well, but I had the disconnect that you just on about, that there was no weapons. Right? But when the match ended, I couldn't tell whether I liked that or I disliked that. I think it's because we haven't seen it in a long... Like, when you say no holds bars match, you said, like, I was ready for a chair or some... There's probably one weapon, but something.
Well, I quite like bringing the concept of that match back to its roots.
Yeah.
And it allowed for some really good psychology. Yeah. And I really liked the finish.
I like the finish too, where they did the submission hold through the ropes, because there's no rope break. It was clever, and that used the whole no bar. I think the match was more clever than I gave it credit for when I first watched it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. The crowd's pretty dead at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I did find confusing is that this finish was a really good finish, but it wasn't a definitive finish. It felt like the continuation of a feud, which I find really confusing.
Yeah, because they're both on the main roster,
and they're both on different brands.
Yeah,
I mean, I just don't understand where this is going or why. really.
But I think, yeah.
But it's good.
It plays out that it's leading to another match at TakeOver at some point.
That's strange.
Anyway, Ember Moon is in an interview similar to Lars's backstage. Penton Royce and friend, what's her name?
Peyton Royce's friend.
Penton Royce's friend. Interrupt Ember Moon. How about they want a championship match to beat her down. Australians aren't very naturally menacing.
No. Well, if you want to go into racist ideas, you just want a shrimp on the barbie with a pint of Foster's.
Yeah, they don't. They should be faces naturally.
Yeah.
They're,
well, I'm sure a lot of Australian wrestlers would disagree with you.
No, I'm sure there can be heel.
Cover yourself here.
Those two just don't come off as very good heels.
They don't come off as good anything. To me. I
They're
don't
annoying.
like them.
Following this, we get a hype video for a championship the UK championship match, Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate.
My man.
In 2 weeks' time.
I could have done with 5 more minutes of this promo.
Yeah. No, that was fun.
Who's the Soon?
Who's what?
Soon.
Soon.
Yeah, they after this they had a little video of a person in a silhouette, and it just said Soon.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I didn't think it was big enough to include.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll find out one day. Okay, and then the main event of the evening, Johnny Gargano makes his return from a kayfabe injury or a real injury.
It didn't seem. I don't think there was an injury because he was on the dark match of Takeover facing Pete Dunne.
Of course he was. He's been off TV a while for some reason.
He just turned up and everybody cheered.
Yeah. So he submits Classius Ono. Even after Ono pretty much controls the entire match, beats the shit out of him. One super kick kind of turns the match around. Gargano wins to a massive pop.
This is my match of the week.
Your match of the week?
Yes, dude.
What? Wow!
Just throwing it out early again.
So early!
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought it was fantastic back and forth. I love Ono's offense. It's so believable and brutal.
Yeah.
Both guys worked incredibly hard. And like, there was a story. I always love when there's a story from start to finish, like working a ligament or something like that. Gargano's got natural babyface charm as well.
Yeah, he has. He's really over in NXT.
I really like this match a lot.
It was a great match. It was definitely match of the card. It was not my match of the week.
Okay, well, I'm interested to see what your match of the week is.
Well, it's match of WWE's week, easily.
Okay.
So NXT as a whole, I felt this is the NXT that should have been post Takeover, War Games.
But I'll let them off. I thought this was a good show.
But I still feel it's not proper NXT quality. It's still dipping under what NXT could be.
Only with Almas. I thought that was a very poor promo.
Yeah.
The rest of the card I really liked. And, get rid of that stupid press stuff. Nobody believes that. It just makes the whole thing look terrible.
I prefer just them talking to camera backstage.
That would be fine. Why'd you need to gimmick it?
So, you enjoyed NXT?
I enjoyed it.
Okay. I think that's the one program we both solidly enjoy every week.
Yeah. There's always something going on.
Yeah. Alright.
Raw!
Well, no. Hold your horses.
Oh, what have
Before Raw, we're going to head over to Japan.
Oh, okay. Disclaimer also, I didn't watch Impact this week.
Well,
so
don't worry about it.
But what I'm saying is, if I haven't watched Impact this week, there might well be a chance I will never watch Impact again. I mean, I was only watching it because I was watching it like a routine.
Yeah, and
now the routine's broken.
That's
it. Might not get your Impact roundups anymore.
And everyone's good. Anyway, so I know you haven't watched, and I don't think you know the results either. So this is going to be fun just to get your viewpoints of it.
I saw one thing.
What do you see?
Chris Jericho.
The Chris Jericho thing.
Yeah.
Everyone saw that.
Which looked amazing.
Yeah, it was. So this is the final of the World Tag Team League, which has run 17 shows, and then this is the final. So it's like 17 house shows, right?
You Japanese fans are dedicated.
All leads to this big final. So you would not have enjoyed this pay-per-view. There's one singles match. Everything else is some variation of a tag team match.
No.
But the pay-per-view's called World Tag Team League.
Well, that's probably why I didn't watch it.
Yeah. So anyway, we open up with a 10-man tag.
What? They really know how to just go to excess.
They just...
Is this a final? Is this a pay-per-view?
Yeah,
Is this on pay-per-view?
It's on their version of the network, on New Japan World.
Okay.
But it's their version of a pay-per-view.
Sure.
And this is the last major one before their version of WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So we got... You're not going to know any of these names, but I'll say it out. Hirisha Tanzan.
No, can you say them out?
I'm not sure I can say all of them. Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nakatama, Mambo Nakanashi, and Jushin Thunder Liger. Beats.
I know that one.
Beats Togi Makabe, David Findlay, Henara Haruri Katamutu, and Katsuya Kitamura.
Fantastic.
Woo!
Did you just say Finley?
Yeah, Fit Finley's son.
Son?
Yeah,
Wow.
works New Japan.
Okay.
So this match I gave a 2.
A 2 out of 5?
Yeah. So New Japan, classically, they have a lot more of the hierarchy, you know, of the jobbers, the mid-card. Well, you know, like Young Lions.
Young Bucks.
Young Lions.
Oh, the Young Lions, okay.
So,
they're
training still. So all of that match would have been it was a jobber match, right? And it just eases the crowd into the show.
Yeah.
I gave that a 2. It ended fairly quickly. The guy that won fucking clotheslined the shit out of Henara, like crushed his neck. It was beautiful. It was a great ending. Anyway,
I can imagine you sitting at your laptop and you see some brutal violence and you just look at it and go, beautiful. That seems like a chef sort of thing.
Yeah. So then we move on to an 8-man tag.
Yeah. I just saw that.
You just saw that?
I just
yeah.
saw that. That is beautiful.
Murders him, doesn't he?
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Love it. Anyway, we move on to Michael Egan, Jeff Cobb, Raymond Ho, and Henson, which are War Machine, the tag team. I don't know if you know. Versus, they beat basically Bullet Club, Hangman Page, Yuriko Takanashi, Chase Owens, and Leo Tonga.
You're getting better at the names.
Yeah, they get easier as we go on. So there's a lot of like strength spots, like a lot of them trying to out-strength each other.
Big man match.
Yeah, a proper big man match. War Machine look great, so I think they're going to be the next contenders after the winner of this pay-per-view.
So War Machine isn't a wrestler then?
No, War Machine is the tag team of Raymond Rowe and Henson. So I gave that match a 3.
Okay.
Then we go on to our first and only singles match of the pay-per-view.
This is...
So it's Bullet Club versus Los I can't never say this. Enigobles de Japón, which is a Mexican stable that has now taken over into New Japan. So it's Bad Luck Fale or Bullet Club versus Bushi.
Okay.
I didn't even give this a ranking because it's just a storyline match.
I've also read that it's arguably the worst Big Show NJPW match of the year. So I can.
Yeah, this match was a dud. So it's storyline. So Bushi spits the spray into the eyes of Bad Luck Fale, and then low blows him for the DQ, and then that's it.
And that's your only singles match.
That's our only singles match.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't like it. Next, we move on to Juice Robinson and Sammy Callihan versus Beretta and Chucky T.
Sammy Callahan?
Yeah.
He's on TNA at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know why. He's pretty good.
That's not very nice.
So this is a very American-style match. You would have enjoyed thoroughly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Again, lots of high spots, like you'd expect in a Japanese product.
I also know 2 people in this match.
I gave this match 2 3/4, though.
Okay.
Because it wasn't best match of the show. Then we move on to an 8-man tag. We got Hiriko Goto, Tanashi Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi. They beat Miro Suzuka, Lance Archer, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and El Desperado. This is also building towards Goto versus Suzuki at Wrestle Kingdom for the Never Openweight Championship.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a storyline match.
The Never Openweight Championship.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole category to itself, but Never was basically a developmental that New Japan tried to open once, and it kind of failed, and they kept the belts as kind of mid-card belts.
Okay. Well, from a casual Western perspective,
yeah,
that is very confusing.
Yeah, it is.
It's like It's like WWE having and keeping Florida Championship Wrestling belt.
Yeah, pretty much.
People feuding over it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Fair enough.
So Goto and Suzuki, they get on the mic after the match. Of course,
Do they win?
Yeah, Goto won.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't know what they were saying because it was in Japanese, but it seemed pretty intense. It seemed quite intense, and the crowd was super into it, and it hyped up the match. And then Goto pulls on his hair, and then the commentators are like, "Oh my god, he just put his hair against the championship." So it's going to be championship versus hair at the...
Speaking of commentators, you get English commentators.
Yes,
for this show.
It's the ex-Ring of Honor commentators. It's I can't remember their names, but they're pretty good.
That's cool. That's a step in the right direction.
Well, because
to me watching
half of New Japan World, their subscription is now converted into English, so you can watch a lot of their shows with English commentary. So it's cool. So then we go on to Cody Rhodes and Marty Scurll, Bullet Club, beating Kota Ibushi and Kushida. A lot of cheating, as you'd expect from a Bullet Club match. Tons of high spots, tons of tension. Again, we're just building up to matches at Wrestle Kingdom. I gave this match. This was my match of the night, though. I gave this 4.25.
Okay.
I loved it, but I don't know if I'm biased because I love Marty Scurll and I love Cody.
Yeah, Marty Scurll is going places.
Yeah, he is doing huge stuff.
It's probably nice for you to see some familiar faces as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, them and Ring of Honor have such a tight relationship now that guys are trading over all over the place, and this is kind of the highlight of the show. So, Kenny Omega, Matt, and Nick Jackson as the Elite beat Rocky Romero, Sho, and Yu, who are the junior
I thought
champions.
it was one name.
No, Sho and Yu, the junior champions. Rahonga, 3K.
Was this for the belts or?
No. This is just... There's no belts defended on this card. Rahonga are going up against New Bucks at Wrestle Kingdom, so again, storyline, all of that stuff. Anyway, the focal point of the match is after the show, there's another video vignette of Chris Jericho hyping up him and Umaga.
I saw
lights go out, lights come back on, Chris Jericho's in the ring. No one expected that. Literally, the crowd lose their shit. Like you'd expect at like an old school WWE event. For a Japanese crowd, that's big. Then, they start chanting Y2J.
Yep.
So they're chanting the outsider because Omega's meant to be like the biggest heel. Chris Jericho beats the snot out of him. He then beats up the Young Bucks. He then beats up one of the American commentators. Like he's killing everyone, and then he leaves, and then he comes back, and then he gets the belt and just keeps beating up Umaga till he bleeds.
I think
there's blood everywhere.
That was the bit I saw.
Yeah,
it looked absolutely brutal.
It was pretty good. It hyped up their match amazingly because Chris Jericho's just amazing at this.
He's the Don.
He is. And then I didn't watch it, but apparently in the post event press conference that they do, Umaga beat up Chris Jericho. Omega beat up Chris Jericho.
R.I.P. Umaga.
Sorry, Umaga. you missed. Okay. So then we go to our co-main, which should have been the main, because this match was basically the John Cena versus the biggest heel.
This is the guy you masturbate to, isn't it? Naito?
Naito, I love Naito. He's the biggest heel, right? So, and Okada is their John Cena.
Okay.
So, Naito and Takahashi beat Okada and Will Ospreay. Naito and Okada are going to go and fight for the belt at Wrestle Kingdom. And it's probably going to be the match of the year, at least for New Japan. The crowd were like super into this. They fought in the crowd. They fought on the ramp. They were fighting everywhere. It was crazy. After the match, Naito gets on the mic, and the fans are split between him and Okada. So I feel like there almost be a Naito face turn here. That means much to you?
No, it doesn't. But your analysis of these matches makes it sound to me like a go-home show for the main show.
Yeah, it is.
Like a fast lane for WrestleMania.
Yeah, it essentially is that. Because it's all just storyline building up to the biggest pay-per-view. Most interestingly, though, is that Okada, and this is the slow storyline that I love about Japan, which I really feel you'd enjoy. So, about a couple of months ago, so a good 3 or 4 shows ago, Okada debuted a new submission finisher, right?
Yep.
And it's like, oh, he's got a new move, like, it's going to be amazing, right? And on this show, it was revealed that this submission finisher is the perfect reversal to Nato's finisher.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Like a gemstone in Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
so
I've got your counter move.
Yeah, like the perfect counter move. So now they go into the biggest show of the year. It's like, I got the perfect counter to really defeat you.
That's some Hollywood shit.
Yeah, but it's been such a slow build as well, because they've revealed it like months at a time.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought you would. Okada gets the last laugh, beating them up after the match.
This is a long show.
It was long. It was like nearly 4 hours. Okay, so then we go into the final, which is the finals of the tournament. So the winner of the A block and the B block in this long 17-show tournament face off. So it's Gorillas of Destiny, Tonga Lu, and Tama Tonga versus Evil and Sonada, who are part of
Sonada's my boy.
Los Ingles.
Why is this the final?
What do you mean?
Because you just had a load of matches before this.
Yeah.
Which didn't lead to this match.
No. All the shows, those 17 shows have led to this match.
So why have all the other matches?
They've just been storyline matches building towards Wrestle Kingdom.
But a lot of them were in tag team matches, right?
Yeah, but they had no.
And this is the World Tag League final.
Yeah. Because I don't think I'm ever going to get Japan through to you.
So the World Tag League final.
So they spent 17 what we would class as house shows, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is paired up into a tag team, just a 2-man tag team, and they're having matches and they're winning points. And there's 2 blocks, an A block and a B block, and the winner of each block, whoever has the most points, now face off in the final. All the other matches on this card.
But neither of these guys were on the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The rest of the matches on this card have no impairing on that tournament.
So there was no point to any of those tag team matches?
Other than just putting on a good show, no.
So why would I bother to watch the show? I don't understand this. This is the World Tag League final.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's the final of the tournament they've had.
And you're going into this final...
Yeah, and you know who the finalists are going
knowing
into
that
this
the
event.
2 teams
are in the main event.
Are in the main. So
the rest of the card.
The rest of the 3.5 hours is just sitting there thinking, well, they were really good runners up.
Well, yeah.
So why would you watch it?
It doesn't work like that in Japan. That's just not the product at all. It's so different. That it's so it's hard to explain. It's just so different.
I prefer Texas.
You just have random matches. Definitely multi-man matches where the winners mean a lot more than an American product, right? So if someone wins a match over someone who's meant to be better than them, that means a lot. So a lot of the time you get a lot of multi-man matches where the guy you'd expect to win wins.
What are you talking about? Logic and wrestling done properly?
Yes!
Nonsense.
That's exactly what it's like in Japan. Anyway, Evo and Sonada win the whole tournament, and they shouldn't have won. Gorillas of Destiny should have won.
Nah, Sonada's my boy.
So Bushi and Bad Luck Fail run out, and they continue this whole Bullet Club Los Enlogras storyline during the tournament final, which I feel, as a Westerner, that was stupid, because this was meant to be like a great match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I only gave this 2 3/4. It was pretty awful. Anyway, so they call out the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, which is the Killer Elite Squad, Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr., and they're going to have a match at Wrestle Kingdom. And that's your whole show. There was a couple of great matches in there, but it's not worth 4 hours of watching.
What would you give this show overall?
2 3/4.
2 3/4.
There was only 2 matches I really enjoyed.
Yep.
Okay.
Chris Jericho. That's all I.
Yeah, Chris Jericho was
one
fun.
really care about.
And that was it. So on to Raw.
Raw.
Which was a bigger disappointment than Japan.
Raw.
Here we go. So we open up with a massive hype on the 3 announced matches of the evening, which is Joe Ambrose, Roland Sheamus, and Reigns Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also having Braun Kane. That came out of nowhere.
No, it didn't. They hyped it up last week.
Yeah, but they hyped it last week. But it's for contendership of Brock's championship.
Yeah, they
That's what came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so we open up on Joe coming to the ring. I love Joe on the mic now.
It was good mic work.
I love Joe.
It was good mic work, but it was.
I've always loved Joe.
It was so predictable.
Yes, it is.
And it's the normal, continual, generic Raw opening segment.
Yeah.
You can tune into Raw 20 minutes after the show starts, and you will have missed nothing, because not only do they replay it to you later,
yeah,
but they don't say of anything of interest.
Well, I was hoping we were going to open on one of these 3 matches. The way they were talking at the beginning, I thought we were just going to open straight on a match. Would have been refreshing.
You know what? That would have actually been better, because after a while, as good as some of these matches were, they began to drag.
Yeah.
Because they were all thrown in within sort of 45 minutes of each other.
So he calls out Roman. Roman comes out. They stand off, and eventually all 6 men come out, and they're all brawling.
Well, you missed the Roman doesn't come out at first.
No, he doesn't come out at first. He's backstage, isn't he?
Rawlings is like, oh, gotta go find Roman.
Yeah.
Roman was in, where was he? Catering or something.
I don't know.
So you'd think that
some pork pies.
So when they read the list saying opening segment, Tomorrow Joe talks, you'd think Roman would think, oh, maybe he's going to call me out like he does every week.
You should probably get ready.
Should be there for that.
Should be in the gorilla position, like ready to go.
No, he didn't.
Okay, so then we have Ascension, Paige and Mandy Rose with Sonya Deville beating Bayley and Mickie James with Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Continuing the Absolution storyline. Was an okay match. Just before the match, Absolution were on the mic. Paige is okay. The other two need to get a bit better on mic work.
Mandy Rose needs mic work. Yeah. Sonya Deville's okay. She doesn't seem maybe polished, but she can get away with it. But Mandy Rose needs a lot of work, I think.
So the match was okay. Nothing to write home about.
Just a TV match.
And then we go into another Wyatt Woken video.
This was great.
What I've put here, this was much better than last week's. However, I didn't enjoy it as much because they've already done it.
They'll probably be doing this for another couple of weeks now.
Yeah. So it's going to get tedious at some point.
What I found interesting about this was that Matt just threw out there a comment saying how he's known Sister Abigail for centuries.
Oh yeah.
And he'd walked through the guns and watched the Guns of Babylon with her centuries ago. And he's I don't know whether they even did it on purpose or not, but he's just changed the nature of Bray's gimmick in one promo. Like he basically alluded to the fact that Bray is possessed by this centuries-old spirit called Sister Abigail. Okay. So he's just completely changed Bray's gimmick.
But that ties into how I would like the storyline to finish. Either Bray Wyatt wins and stays who he is, retiring Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's like, this is it now, off TV forever. Or, if you're going to keep Matt Hardy, he awakens Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt loses his current Wyatt gimmick.
What would you put him as?
I don't know. I'm just saying this storyline, to be good, it either has to end up with Matt Hardy retiring or Bray Wyatt being completely repackaged.
As on top of this, Jeff will be around at some point. He's just injured at the moment.
Oh, I don't like Jeff Broken.
He'd be back.
Broken. Jeff doesn't do it as well as Matt did.
I don't think they would allow him to use his.
I think Jeff's just going to be a main eventer now.
He had that old gimmick. He won't be a main eventer.
Well, no, well, he'll be a jobber to the stars.
Okay. I just wanted to say this. This is the first time in a long time that Bray looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, well, I can imagine they are. This is a lot of rambling nonsense weirdness.
Yeah.
Matt needs to iron his background.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
It's a blue bedsheet they've just hung up.
Why is that his background?
I don't know. Anyway, so we go backstage to Enzo and Gulak. They're talking about Rick Swan's contendership being revoked, and there's going to be a second chance for corners match. That's all that's said on it. And then we hyping Nia Jax and Enzo in Love storyline. Yeah.
But they're actually hyping it as well. They showed you what happened last week.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it leads to a
And there's going to be another segment later in the show. Okay, so back in the ring, Finn Balor beats Curtis Axel with Bo Dallas.
Yeah, Finn continues to sink lower into the mid-card.
Well, this match was better than last week's.
I have got that down. It was a shorter squash, which is what it needed to be. But just the fact that 2 weeks back to back, he's facing the Miz Taraj.
Well, I'm hoping this leads to him facing the Miz at some point.
But the Miz is filming a movie. He's not going to be back for months.
He's going to be back in January because he's booked in that mixed tag thing.
Okay, well, I don't really want to see Balor face the Miz.
No, but I'm hoping that's where this is going to go. That's the best scenario.
Balor just seems a bit lost. He's treading water. They've got nothing for him to do. They're just throwing him against guys. What I would have done this week is have a pretty even, hard-hitting match with a guy that wasn't even on this show for no reason. Do you know who that was?
Well, who?
Elias.
Oh, yeah.
Nowhere to be seen.
Elias was not on the show whatsoever.
Throw Elias with Balor.
Yeah.
Do something with those guys.
That could happen. So that's nothing special. So we go back to Kane, just chatting some menacing random shit to Braun. Yeah. It's not even coherent, really.
Kane doesn't even, but he doesn't have to be. He just stands there with his beady eyes and his fat gut.
And then, even in kayfabe, it amazes me that Kane is kind of fat and old, that he thinks he could beat Brock.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised to learn that Kane has never actually faced Brock.
No, in a singles match, they've never...
No,
yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
They did say. So, well, we'll talk about what happens with that later.
Mm.
So then we move on to the first of the 3 hyped matches. Seth Rollins beats Sheamus.
Yes.
This was a really fun back and forth match.
Very good.
This was my favourite match of the night.
It wasn't mine.
No?
But it was a very good match. They have 2 very different styles, and it's rare that 2 very different styles come together and completely gel. And this is what these guys did.
It worked well.
No gimmicks, just straightforward, great wrestling. Yeah. Really.
I put here that this could have been a mediocre to a really good pay-per-view match.
Yes.
This was a solid for a TV.
I thought this was pay-per-view worthy. Yeah. It's also a credit to their abilities that these guys are still interesting.
Yeah.
Because they've got various combinations.
Really revamped in the last year.
He has. He's great, and the various combinations of these guys face each other every single week since. I think they've been feuding since SummerSlam.
Yeah.
They're still making it fresh every week. So credit to them. I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, great match. And then we move on to the second chance qualifier for the Cruiserweight contendership. Mm-hmm. Cedric Alexander beats Tony Nese, Mustafa Ali, and Daivari.
I like what they're doing with 205 at the moment.
Gulak was on commentary.
You've come in at a sort of a good time for 205.
Yeah.
Gulak added to the match. One long match is a lot better for me to showcase talent than 2 short, boring vanilla matches. And this was a good match. Daivari seems to be the weak link in this program.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali is really fun.
He's really good.
And Tony Nese was great in this match.
I think they need to do something with Mustafa Ali because he's got all of the talent. I've
never heard him talk yet.
No, he seems a bit bland. So they need to build his character in some way. But this was a good segment. And did you notice they gave these guys 20 minutes?
Yeah, it was a long match. I thought it was a fun spot fest. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I wanted to say was that there was no sign of Enzo.
No.
So they finally seem to be letting these guys showcase their talent for themselves.
Well, Gulak is really the one that's really being pushed.
I think they're transitioning Gulak.
I think Gulak's going to win this.
I hope so. I really like Gulak.
I think he's going to turn face against Enzo just because of this next segment. Enzo and Gulak backstage again. Yeah. Enzo tears him a new one without him really realising it. And then Nia Jax comes in and flirts with him.
Yeah, Enzo, you put a lot more effort into that note than I did. I put Enzo and Nia continue the loving.
Yeah, but I'm taking away more the Gulak stuff, and I think Gulak should turn face.
I think he will. I think you've nailed that on its head.
So great. Then we're back in the ring for the Intercontinental Championship match. Strange placing of this match on the card.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, all 3 of these Shield matches could be seen as Raw main events.
Yeah. And
they've all placed in a similar position. So even if they're really good, you start to feel worn out.
Yeah. So Roman Reigns beats Cesaro.
This was my match of the night.
Yeah, it was a great match because it was proper storytelling. Cesaro worked the arm and everything.
Yeah,
and it was great.
Working of a ligament is something you don't really see much in current wrestling, and Cesaro was very good at it. Roman sold it well enough, but his selling was occasionally spotty. He forgot about it for a few seconds and then went back to it.
Roman looked like he was going to lose this match. I knew he wasn't going to.
Yeah, it was...
But it looked like Cesaro maybe could be a contender in singles form to Roman one day.
Either of these guys, either of them you can split up and they're still just as interesting now.
Yeah.
Which is a credit to them, because I've never been converted to two people I didn't like so much. I think they're great.
I've always liked Cesaro.
Also, did you see a crowd sign?
No.
In the second row?
What?
Roman drinks orange juice after he brushes his teeth.
Oh, I did see that.
I thought that was great.
I had no idea what that was about, but...
Because it tastes unpleasant.
Creative... What,
so
he's
Roman
unpleasant?
enjoys... I guess
Roman
Roman
enjoys unpleasantness.
He enjoys unpleasantness in his mouth. is what that fan was saying.
Alright, so that was a great match, had a good ending.
Yep,
awesome.
very good.
We're again backstage, this time with Braun. Now he chats some shit to Kane. It's very intense, and that's about it.
Well, that's all they need to be. They as long as they got the intensity, they can just throw random words together.
They don't have to say fuck all, really. Okay, so Asuka makes an entrance as if she's about to have a match, but she doesn't because Absolution comes out. They've alluded to beating up Alicia Fox backstage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, kayfabe-wise, if they didn't beat her up backstage, Absolution did us a favour, because we would have seen Asuka and Alicia Fox 2 weeks in a row.
That's quite amusing. What if they didn't? What if they just walked past her and she was complaining about her arms? They were like, oh, here we go then. Maybe they didn't beat her up.
Oh, maybe they didn't do anything.
No.
She was just pussying out, and they were like, oh, fine, we'll go out there.
Oh, that's more believable.
That's quite believable. So, Paige wants to beat Asuka down. Asuka fights them off quite valiantly until the number games gets too much, and then the Taiwan's roster runs out. And then Nia Jax looks amazing because she just bulldozes everyone.
I've said this week over. I don't like this. I don't like putting Asuka anywhere near Absolution.
No.
You can have the Absolution women's locker room thing going on. Why include Asuka in it? She's new just as the Absolution are new. You don't put the two newest people together.
Yeah.
There's no reasoning or rhyme to that.
But this goes against what I thought of Asuka joining Absolution.
Yeah. So, which makes it even worse.
It's confusing on many levels, really.
I also don't like the fact that Raw and SmackDown are aping each other every week.
Yeah.
So you do a Absolution versus Locker Room on Raw, and then you do a Riot Squad versus Locker Room on SmackDown.
It's very strange to do it at the same time, like week in, week out.
If this doesn't connect,
it's not very clever.
And they become united, and they were united the whole time. If that doesn't happen, then this will potentially go down as my worst of the year, sort of on my list.
But Ruby Riott and Donna Seville are feuding in NXT.
No sense whatsoever.
So they can't connect.
You know how much I like my logic, Ben?
Yeah, it makes no. So then we go backstage with Kurt Angle, and for a moment there, I thought we weren't going to see Kurt Angle tonight.
Yeah,
it was weird. He came very late in the show.
I really thought, because I didn't realise that they had already announced the 3 matches, so I thought they were going to do that beatdown thing at the beginning, and then I was waiting for Kurt Angle's music to turn up. But then that would have been the most ultimate generic Raw opening of all time.
Yeah. So finally we see Kurt Angle, and he wants the ring enforced for the main event. Of course he does. That's generic as well. So Jason Jordan comes in, and at first he apologises for last week, and then he screams the exact same stuff he screamed in Kurt Angle's face last week. About, I've had a match with John Cena and Roman Reigns, I'm this, and then Kurt Angle goes, you've had a match, you haven't beaten any of them.
And then he says, speaking to you as GM, you haven't beaten anyone, and then Jordan's like, well, okay, Dad. I mean, Kurt. And then he runs off.
That's it. That's really it.
It's not exactly a subtle way of showing the heel turn, is it?
No.
And I think it's going on. It's going on far too long now.
Yeah, because it's not.
They need to mix
obviously
this.
Leading anywhere. Okay, and then we're back in the ring with Joe versus Ambrose, and Jordan is watching on the stage. This was annoying.
I don't really understand what they're doing with Jordan again. This was much shorter than the 2 other Shield marquee matches.
Well, this was a storyline match, wasn't it?
It was a lot worse.
Yeah.
They tried to use go for like a Smash Mouth style to differentiate themselves from the last 2.
Yeah.
But it was short. It did its job. It's also clear that WWE values Dean the least out of the Shield. Because they needed a guy to get beaten by Joe to give Joe heat.
Yeah.
It was fine.
So Jordan accidentally distracts the ref when Ambrose pretty much has the pin on Joe to win. Those two get in an argument outside, and then Joe hits a suicide dive, throws Ambrose back in the ring, chokes him out to win.
Yeah, I don't understand where you're lying here, because you've got Joe versus Shield and Joe versus Roman. Then you've got Jordan coming out and just sort of involving himself, but it's not going to lead anywhere.
Nobody else wants him involved.
No. So I don't really understand why you're throwing Jordan into this. Give him a program with somebody else.
Yeah. He should. Well, him and Elias could do something.
Exactly.
Elias
was in the building. He did a
pre-show match.
A song. No, he did a song for the live crowd. Why not? You could have used him tonight.
Yeah. He should have been used. It's weird he's been off TV. Anyway, so after this match, we go backstage to Titus O'Neil employing Dana Brooke
as the statistician.
And then Gallows and Anderson interrupt to call her a nerd. It was awful up until the point Braun just bulldozes his way through, and everyone jumps the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, he just roared.
He just roared. Just runs right through him. That's fun. Back in the ring, we see.
No, we had a long promo video.
What we have?
We had a long promo video for Strowman and Kane.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, complete with a tail of the tape and.
Yeah, tail of the tape, monstrous moment. Braun's was flipping over an ambulance.
They really hyped this up. It feels like a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, and then it didn't.
I don't remember him flipping over an ambulance, but that's cool.
You don't remember?
No.
Roman Reigns being in an ambulance and then Braun flipped it over.
I think I missed that one.
You don't remember that?
No.
That's a big moment of this year's history. Jesus.
It felt like a pay-per-view match.
So just before the match, you got lots of people looking like they're reinforcing the ring, but I don't think they did fuck all.
But they were aiming for something akin to the Big Show match. Yeah. And failed miserably.
Yeah. So, ends up in a double DQ. No winner. No contender. I don't know. It was a cool match up until the ending. There was trading of the choke slams. There was a really cool exchange of clothesline. Then there was a moment when I think it happened after the match. It did. It happened after the match where Kane did his whole sit-up thing.
There was nothing really in the match.
And then Braun copied the sit-up thing, looked at him and roared.
I thought this was very disappointing. I wasn't really looking forward to this match, but after the promo video and the tail of the tape,
you got into it.
The hype, I got into it, and it was just nothing really. And even after the match and the stuff after that was kind of just dull.
What? You didn't like the jousting of steel steps?
No, I hated that.
I liked the jousting of steel steps.
Well, it's aiming at you, isn't it?
Yes, it's for me. It's not for you.
I think they're stalling this feud because they've got nothing else for Braun.
Another couple of weeks.
I think I think originally they were planning on ending it here and doing like a Big Show thing, but I think they've realised they haven't got anyone for Braun, so they're just going to carry on with Kane.
They carry on with this because he puts Kane through a table, so it does set up the continuation of the feud. Well,
Brock's there next week as well.
Well, yeah, because nothing's been set up for Brock at Rumble now, so something needs to be set up.
I hope it's not a triple threat with Kane.
No, neither do I.
I love Kane, but not a thing. Also, little piece of trivia for you.
Okay.
Kane has been in 37 WWE video games.
Wow.
I counted them myself.
Wow. So you got all that time, but you don't have time to watch Impact. Okay, so following Raw, I'm gonna go through Ring of Honor next. This is Ring of Honor's Go Home show for Final Battle.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a massive disappointment.
Really?
Yeah, for a Go Home show, it did not get me fired up for Final Battle at all. So we opened the show with a TV Championship match. The winner would go on to be the champion in the pay-per-view. Kenny King retained his championship against Caprice Coleman. Caprice Coleman had hired one of the members of the Fatal 4-Way in the pay-per-view to be kind of must outside. Basically, it ends up Kenny King wins, and all the other competitors come in and beat him up in the ring, and then they all brawl.
Why have you got
wasn't very clever.
Why have you got a World Television Championship match on the Go Home show?
Because him and Caprice Coleman are feuding, but the other people in the match, they won like a tournament to get in it, so they're not actually feuding with him.
So is Caprice Coleman in the match?
No. So that's why they had this match.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was a bit silly. But that's it. It wasn't. Anyway, so Addiction come out, Daniels and Kaz, and they are chatting shit about War Machine. Remember them from New Japan?
From New Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, they're everywhere.
So they're going to have a match at the pay-per-view. But Raymond Ho is suspended because he accidentally hit a member of the crowd about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Storyline. Anyway, so they get... Hanson comes out and tries to attack both of them, but they overpower him. They tape him up to the ropes, and then they start shaving his beard. Like this huge fucking beard. And then security have to eventually run in and like pull him away, and then Daniels runs away.
Wrestling.
Actually, that was the best segment of the show. It was quite funny. So then another segment, again hyping up a match at the pay-per-view. The Briscoes come out calling out Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer's just been placed in that. Up until now, it's just been Bully Ray.
Yeah, because you told me last week it was Bully Ray and a random tag team partner.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's Tommy Dreamer.
It's a New York street fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a New York street fight.
I thought you'd be more hyped up for this.
No, I am. But the segment wasn't fun. So the owner of Ring of Honor, Joe Koff, who is hardly ever seen actually on TV.
Nice name.
He comes out and starts screaming at all of them that they need to stop doing this. That this is too far. So he gets into the ring where Briscoes are like holding the ring hostage, he's screaming at them.
Is he like looking tired and balding?
He's very old and very short, and yeah, it was weird. And the commentators were building up the fact that he never comes on TV.
So out of the whole thing, out of the Bullet Club and everything that's going on,
he comes out to Briscoes. Yeah,
he's upset with the Briscoes.
Briscoes, yeah.
So he's an old ECW guy, basically.
I guess so. Yeah. So he confronts them and sets up this hardcore match, and that's it. Oh, they have a little brawl.
It's not a hardcore match. It's a New York street fight. Get your synonyms right.
Yeah, and they do brawl afterwards. Of course they do. So then we have the main event of the night, which is Jay Lethal versus Matt Taven, who's part of the Kingdom. Marty Scurll gets himself involved into this because he's up against Jay Lethal at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It was an okay match, and then towards the end of the match, he slides his signature umbrella in, right? And the whole storyline is that he's trying to convert Jay Lethal back to being a heel, which he used to be like a year ago in Ring of Honor. So he's like, use the umbrella, finish off the match, use the umbrella while the ref's turned. And Jay Lethal's like, he picks it up and he thinks about it, and then he drops it, which causes the distraction for Matt Taven to get the win. And then afterwards, Jay Lethal's kind of mouthing off, and Scurll's just like, well, I try to help you, you know. I gave you the umbrella, as cocky as he is, because he's part of the Bullet Club, laying it off. Yeah, that's it.
Was that it?
No, and then after that, we had the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Dalton Castle for the championship match at the pay-per-view. And it's what you expect from a contract signing segment.
So
literally what you expect.
Will Ospreay didn't turn up then?
No, but he's on the pay-per-view, right?
He's facing Matt Taven.
Yeah. That's just going to be a throwaway opener. So,
or at least I was surprised when you didn't mention Cody. At least Cody's on it.
Cody was on it, but it was like briefly.
And they did.
It was the first time I've seen Brandy in like a year.
Brandy.
Yeah, Brandy Rhodes.
Oh, Brandy
his
Rhodes.
wife. She was because she never really tours with him anymore.
And they did the Motor City Machine Guns last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they basically hyped up everything.
Pretty much, but not very. No, I'm not that excited. Anyway,
so not the week for me to start watching Ring of Honor.
But let's. I'm interested to do a predictions of Final Battle with you, going off name value only, because you don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So I've got a predictions list here, and I'm going to write down who you think's going to win, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't know anything that's going on.
I know. So just say what's happening.
Okay.
So opening match: Matt Taven versus Will Ospreay.
Ospreay.
I've got Ospreay as well, so we both got Ospreay. Then Jay Lethal versus Marty Scurll.
Marty.
I got Marty as well.
Because he's on one at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, I think this storyline's going to continue for a lot longer. Addiction versus War Machine. Addiction is Kaz and
Well,
Daniels.
you said War Machine just won this tag tournament final.
No, they didn't win the finals. They won a match.
I'm gonna go with my boys then. Kaz and Daniels.
Okay, I'm going with War Machine. So then we got the New York Street Fight. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer versus the Briscoes.
Come on, man, Briscoes.
I don't know what to say with
They're
this
like
one.
60.
I think it's going to be Ray and Tommy Dreamer.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that against the Briscoes.
I don't know.
The Briscoes have been built up for years.
They have. But
And Tommy's way over. I love Tommy, but he's fat and he's bald. I can't.
we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Do you reckon it's going to be a hardcore spot fest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they can't wrestle anymore, can they? Bully can.
Bully can somewhat.
Tommy can't go, I don't think.
Okay, so next, the 6-man tag team championships, the Hung Bucks. Get it? Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page.
Great.
Versus Dragon Lee, Flip Gordon and Titan.
Hung Bucks.
It's hard to put against Bullet Club, but I think Flip Gordon might win it.
I don't know the other guys. All I know is Cody Rhodes said recently that this is the first year he's ever made 7 figures.
Actually, on the New Japan show, the Young Bucks did say that they had done 9 countries in 5 days.
Mm.
No,
How'd you
that's
do
got to
that?
be wrong.
Yeah, you can't do that.
5 countries
It is
in 9 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not betting against Bullet Club.
You can't, but we'll see. Okay, so then the TV Championship elimination match, 4 corners elimination. Kenny King, Punishment Martez, Shane Tyler, and Silas Young.
I don't know these guys, so I'm just going to say Kenny King.
I guess Silas Young could do it, but I'm going to go with Kenny King as well. So we're pretty much even on this. Motion Machine Guns versus Best Friends, Beretta, and Chucky T for the Tag Team Championships.
Motor City Machine Guns retain.
Yeah, because they're involved in the Tag Team feud of the Kingdom, so it makes most sense. Main event, Cody versus Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor World Championship.
This is the only one not watching programming that I bet money on.
Yeah?
For Cody to retain.
Yeah, Cody's retaining. Easy. So we've only gone against each other on 2 matches.
So that's not bad for me.
Yeah, but I might be completely wrong.
You usually are.
I usually am, yeah. So that's not good for you. You ready for this? The SmackDown Go Home show for Clash of Champions.
SmackDown Go Home.
One thing I want to ask you is, when did it change from Night of Champions to Clash of Champions?
So Clash of Champions, they had last year.
Yeah.
And that was the re-debut of it, I think.
And WCW, it was called
Clash of Champions. And Night of Champions lasted up until the early 10s.
Okay.
Around there.
Okay. So this is the Go Home show. Owens and Zayn open the show, starting their protest to take over SmackDown and get rid of Shane's and yeah.
I'm not that much of a happy
Tyrant.
person. I'm a pretty miserable person.
Alright.
But Owens and Zayn always manage to make me smile.
Okay, so AJ officially opens the show with his promo against Jinder, which is pretty typical stuff.
I didn't like it.
Until the Sign Brothers come out and interrupt. Singh Brothers come out. Yeah, so the Singh Brothers are trying to pretend, or not, side with AJ against Jinder because Jinder has been treating them badly and he beat them up on TV 2 weeks ago. But then AJ shows pictures of them being very friendly on the India tour, and it's suspicious that they are double-crossing him.
This was horrible. You know, when you said to me earlier, I kind of like SmackDown, I preferred it to Raw. I was drinking a lot of cider, though. Yeah, you fucking were.
I was drinking a lot of cider watching this show. This is just as bad
as every other week. I hate SmackDown. This was awful. Jinder comes out, what even was that Singh brother stuff? That was stupid. And then Jinder comes out, he says, "Don't say that about the Singhs. What did you say about the Singhs?" That was that. He didn't even face the guy.
Yeah.
They didn't even do a stare down.
Nope.
He just got his little boys and carried them to the back. This was stupid. This was terrible. This was supposed to be funny. I didn't like it.
But wait for it, because there's more AJ Jinder shenanigans.
Yeah,
coming
that
up
was shit as well.
Wait for it. It's coming. So we go into our first match. Charlotte beats Ruby Riott who is out there with the Riot Squad. And there's a DQ after Natalia gets involved.
What match? I just watched adverts.
Yeah, so this is the first time I watched the American version of it. And so I seen the split screen thing you've been on about. And, oh my god, yeah. Like, the majority of the match is lost to adverts.
Yeah.
They got to a point on watching SmackDown this week where I felt, because I'm obsessed with American culture, that I was enjoying the American adverts more than I was enjoying SmackDown.
Week. Some of them are amazing.
Some of them are brilliant. We could do a whole podcast about these adverts.
The best one last week was about Home Depot store.
Yeah.
So no, just the name of what that is, Home Depot store.
Yeah.
I was fascinated. And they're so earnest as well. Like there's no sort of, because a lot of our British adverts are like snide. Or it's like bitter humour. Yeah. They're like all smiling and happy. Yeah. I love it.
My favourite advert was for Geico, you know, the little lizard.
Oh yeah.
So he's on a beach and there's a wedding happening and he's going off about whatever he's trying to sell and a crab comes along. And he's like, I'm not crying, I just got sand in my eye. This little lizard, I love it.
So anybody saying that these adverts, and us talking about them, is that we're not doing wrestling. Well, neither was the wrestling. Wrestling wasn't doing wrestling.
No.
That's why we're talking about
our
the
attention
adverts.
was on the... That's how much our attention was on the
This is a horrible idea. People, they need to get rid of this as soon as possible.
Yeah. Anyway, Naomi comes back from kayfabe injury? I don't know. They were like, oh, Naomi's back.
They actually, that was one of the few good things on SmackDown. The Riot Squad demolished her in the same way that they would try to do with Charlotte this week.
Yeah. But Naomi
shoved her face into a steel steps.
Okay. Then the protest continues backstage. Zayn leaves poster with Daniel Bryan as he's on the phone with Shane. This was quite funny.
I like this whole thing.
I think this is why I enjoy SmackDown. These continuous protest segments they had.
I like the fact that they've got a P taped over the S.
Yes.
And it's the yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring that up when we get to the major promo. After that, Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. No winner, because Bobby Roode gets involved.
This was horrible.
Well, Bobby Roode on commentary was great, and then the double DQ kind of ruined everything.
He was only on commentary for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
If you'd watched SmackDown...
Because he gets annoyed, and he's just like, I'm in the ring now. And even the commentators are like, already?
If you'd watched SmackDown last week, you would realise that this is the exact same segment with a different guy playing Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
Last week was Dolph Ziggler. This week was Bobby Roode. This is lazy. It's so lazy. It's not hyping me up for anything at all.
No, it's not clever.
And also, you don't know what to do with Charlotte and Natalia. You don't know what to do with the US Championship match. So, what shall we do? 2 DQs consecutively over your first 2 matches on SmackDown on your go-home show.
Yep.
This
doesn't make you want.
Who's writing this stuff? I don't think anybody's writing this stuff. I think they've got the typewriter on self-type, and then they just go out and have a beer.
Probably.
I fucking hate SmackDown.
But SmackDown's creative team, when they first did the split,
creative team
was so much better than Raw's.
I'm calling you out, SmackDown creative.
We could write something better, easy.
Write me.
Anyway, so after that. We get the fashion files, but this wasn't a full segment because the full segment was on Facebook or something. We only got a glimpse of it.
Oh no.
Which is stupid.
So sad I missed that.
So Ascension apparently now best friends with Breezango.
Yeah.
Alright.
Because they had a little saw thing to get. They actually killed the Ascension.
Oh, but
the
Ascension are back.
Well, they're back to life.
And they're best friends. So Ascension convinced Breezango to challenge Blood and Brothers at the pay-per-view.
Why is this announced ahead of time? When have matches like this ever been announced ahead of time? They're just there. You know why they're announced ahead of time? Because they know nobody wants to watch this show. They're just piling stuff on.
Yeah, they're just trying to anything they'll get. Well, yeah.
Do you know what this is called?
Because the Blood and Brothers are actually quite interesting.
This is called throwing shit at the wall.
See what sticks.
That's what they're doing.
See what sticks. Well, then we had the Bludgeon Brothers beat local jobbers.
Oh, no, not just any local jobbers. I'm marked out for this.
Okay.
Do you know who one of the local jobbers was?
No, I didn't recognise him.
Colin Delaney.
Nope.
Nope. Colin Delaney was... This way you need me.
Yeah.
Colin Delaney was in ECW in 2008. I'm sure you recognise his face. And somehow he's morphed into Daniel Bryan. They had him on the ECW brand in 2008, and he used to
He
get...
looked a lot chubbier. Oh, that's him now, with the beard and
Yeah, with him now. That's him back then.
Oh,
with
wow.
Taz, and he used to get destroyed by Mark Henry, and he was mates with Tommy Dreamer for a while.
Okay.
And he was just ECW's resident jobber. And I've got another little fun fact of trivia here for you.
Go on then.
Colin Delaney cost Tommy Dreamer the ECW championship at the Great American Bash 2008.
And cool. And you got jobbed to Bludgeon Brothers in 2017.
I love these Bludgeon Brothers matches.
Yeah.
Did you hear the scream?
Yeah, I was
from the
about to
other
say,
jobber?
he was doing a powerbomb and he screamed. That was brilliant.
Match of the night.
That was the best oversell I've seen in a long time.
I think it's because since James Ellsworth got a job.
Oh, so now all the local jobbers just have to...
Yeah, they're like, oh, we need to put our print on this.
Not only does it have... You have to really be the best at jobbing ever, but you got to have, like... Yeah, like the scream. You got to do that one-site thing that like fans could pick up on the internet and try and get you a job, basically.
It was great. It was a great squash. I love the scream of the jobber. The double power bomb looks great. The Bludgeon Brothers are really coming into their own.
Yeah, they're fun.
The Bludgeon Brothers have been my thing of the night twice in 2 weeks. That's how much I hate SmackDown. And one other thing is that I appreciated the fact that I think it's Corey Graves recognised Colin Delaney and said, "That's Colin Delaney."
Oh, well, I love the announcers picked up on the scream as well. Okay, so after this match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out. So this is kind of like the big payoff of the Occupy SmackDown poster segments. So yeah, they try and start the Yep movement.
I like that.
Movement instead of
that.
Yes. And then they try and bring all the roster to come out and occupy SmackDown. And the only one that comes out eventually, like 2-3 minutes, is Daniel Bryan. And he comes out to no music, stands on there, and then his music plays out, and then he starts the Yes thing, which bombed. Nobody actually yesed with him at that point. He's in the ring, and he says, yeah, the Yes movement was about the fans, it's not about you guys, so the Yep movement will never work. And then he makes himself the second guest referee in the pay-per-view match. So there's going to be 2 guest referees.
Yes, this is just part 1 of Daniel Bryan's heel turn.
Yes.
Because
which hopefully will lead to him having a match.
Last week I thought Shane was turning heel, but I think after what happened in that main event, Daniel's definitely turning heel.
I thought he was going to turn heel on this show, but it didn't quite happen.
Nearly.
It didn't quite happen.
He turned heel on commentary.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up, but we'll get there. First of all, we got Rusev and Aiden English beating the Usos.
What was this? What was this?
This was...
You enjoyed this show with a couple of beers, did you?
Well, looking back at it, this was a clusterfuck of a tag team match.
This was painful, Ben.
Because...
So you got your absolute... No, sorry.
Carry on, go on.
Absolute jobbers. Rusev and English. And it pains me to say that Rusev's a jobber, but he's a jobber.
Okay.
Okay? And then last week, they beat... who was it they beat? The New Day. They beat the New Day last week, so I'm like, well, that's out of fucking nowhere, but fine, whatever. They need another group. I don't know why they need another group.
Yeah.
Why do they need another group? I don't understand. 3 was fine. That was a good match. Dream match, whatever. So you add English and Rusev to that by beating the New Day. I'm like, okay, New Day can take a loss. It's fine. You just beat the fucking tag team champions.
The champs.
Rusev and English, who a couple of weeks ago were nobodies.
Yeah.
They were like Breezango level.
Yeah.
I mean, Breezango was actually ahead of them because Breezango's got a match against the Bludgeon Brothers. English and Rusev wouldn't get a match against the Bludgeon Brothers. But
you saying that, they beat the it wasn't just the champions, they also beat probably the hottest tag team in this whole segment.
Yeah.
Because New Day on commentary, and I thought actually for New Day they were quite boring on commentary. They didn't really do anything. They were just sat there.
Throwing pancakes.
The Usos came out on mic and they were just as hot shit as they always are on. I love the Usos on mic. They need more mic time than they get.
Yeah,
I love that they finish each other's sentences, that kind of stuff.
It's also like somehow they managed to make things that aren't cool sound cool.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually listen to some of their promos, if they were said by anyone else, they would look terrible.
Yeah, but they off really
well. They
well.
managed to do it.
Then Benjamin and Gable come out and they talk utter crap.
Gable is not good on the mic.
Yeah,
man.
They talk nonsense. It makes no sense. I got the point that they want the belt, but they looked awful.
This wasn't good.
Then the match itself was actually pretty shit.
And you
The
split screened your tag team champions.
Oh yeah, that.
So you've split screened your women's champion and your tag team champions in this show.
Yeah, again, I remember the adverts. So, woo, angry.
I don't like SmackDown.
Usos should have won that match.
Definitely, it's stupid booking. It's made the Usos look weak. Because these guys just came out of nowhere. I mean, the New Day, the New Day victory was a fluke win. This was a pretty dominant win. This wasn't like a fluke, was it?
No.
They actually pinned them clean.
They did.
That was stupid. Why? Why are you doing that?
I don't know. So we're backstage with Renee, who's interviewing AJ, and then Jinder attacks him from behind.
Yeah, stupid.
That's all there is to say, really.
He punches him 3 times very weakly.
Yeah.
And AJ just falls unconscious.
Are
you kidding me?
Because AJ just
the guy that just went 20 minutes for Brock. Go away. I hate this show.
Back in the ring, Kevin Owens eventually beats Shinsuke with a lot of shenanigans. The match starts with Orton and Shinsuke promo.
Bad promo.
With Renee. How did Renee get from back to front so quickly? Because this is live, right?
Ask Dean.
Like, she got into that ring pretty quickly.
Yeah, what? And
like,
also,
AJ's getting beaten down. She's sprinting to the ring. I got to get to the next
I got really confused here because they rang the bell as Orton was coming out. And then Shinsuke came out, and I thought Randy Orton and Shinsuke were having a match.
Yeah, tag team match.
And then they have this awful promo.
Yeah. So Daniel Bryan is on commentary, and him and Byron, I think, are having a shoot argument.
This was cool.
This was the best thing on SmackDown.
See, I don't...
Daniel Bryan got heated.
I don't know what... I've got the exact same word.
And Byron wouldn't shut up. He wouldn't let it go.
I don't know whether this was a work or a shoot. Or a worked shoot.
I think...
Because they're building up the Bryan heel turn, right? And all 3 of those guys are indies.
Yeah.
Like, they come from the indies.
He made... That was what kicked off the argument.
But at the same time, Bryan is extremely frustrated with not being able to wrestle, and he wants to go to indies.
Yeah.
So if it was a shoot, if it was a work, it was a worked shoot. Like, I don't think Bryan... I think Bryan believes that stuff.
Yeah.
And there was one point where he said, what do you think? WWE just wipes my mind and I forget everything I've ever done.
Yeah.
And then...
I don't remember anything before I came here.
Yeah. And then Byron says, well, you should remember everything that counts.
Yeah.
And then even Corey Graves goes, whoa.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, you should shut up. And then they're playing off Byron as just like a yes man that just believes whatever he's told.
What?
And then, but because the whole thing was like, they were saying, oh, do you think it's fair that these two will get fired? And Byron was like, yeah, because the boss has told me that. And they're like, so is it fair if the boss says that you're fired for no reason? And he's like, well, yeah, if that's what the boss thinks.
I was listening to the Taz show the other day.
Yeah.
Props to Taz.
Okay.
And he was talking about commentators insulting other commentators, and how a lot of the time the commentators that get insulted don't realise that it's happening. They aren't told, I'm about to insult you.
Yeah.
Basically, Vince gets in one commentator's earpiece and says to say this to a commentator that he's not enjoying at the moment.
So you think Byron is just the joke?
Yeah. So I think Vince has gotten into Byron's ears saying, say this, say this, say this.
Okay, and Daniel Bryan is just
Bryan can't hear it.
Yeah.
And Taz said that a lot of the time when that happened, one commentator would pass over the note to the other commentator, like just write a little bit saying, wasn't me, sorry.
Yeah.
So that probably happened. Byron probably wrote a note saying, wasn't me.
Yeah.
Across.
Yeah, because it was so heated, it felt real. It felt proper, which was great. It's what I needed.
But apparently Vince is a sneaky motherfucker, because apparently he doesn't radio to all 3 at all times. Okay. Sometimes he cuts off 2 of them and speaks to one and say this to the other guy.
That's so fucking...
That happened. According to Taz, that's what happens a lot.
That's so manipulative. Wow.
So when Corey is having a go at Booker on Raw, Vince is speaking through Corey and Booker can't hear it.
Booker can't hear.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, so I thought Daniel Bryan was actually turning heel in this match because there's a ref bump, and so he just decides to rip the ref shirt off, put it on himself, which obviously plays into the storyline of the pay-per-view. And he becomes the ref, and then the whole argument is that he was too slow to count Owens losing. Shinsuke had the pin. and then some shenanigans, and then Owens wins. And Byron was going crazy, saying like, "Oh, he was being biased. He was like, there was a slow count." Zayn and Orton brawl outside.
I mean, yeah. The match was a solid TV main event, but I didn't really get into it.
The commentary made me get it. Like,
I liked the commentary. Yeah. This whole thing though just feels thrown together. It's like, we've got Owens and we've got Zayn, and we need to do something with them. Who can we put with them? Randy Orton's not doing anything. Nakamura's not doing anything. Let's just throw them all together.
They're all just together.
It wasn't anything must watch, and I thought it was a pretty poor go home show.
It was a shit go home show.
You liked it?
Well, I liked.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed SmackDown because you had been shitting on it for weeks now. So I enjoyed it better than I thought. However, I did drink 5 ciders while watching it.
Any show's good at that point.
So, okay, so let's talk Clash of Champions.
Right. This is from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, Cena's hometown.
Okay. Thanks for that. Pre-show match is Zack Ryder versus Mojo Rawley.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Mojo. Because I think Mojo needs some...
I'm going to go...
Needs some heat.
I'm going to go Mojo as well. Just because he won that Andre. Like, he's got
Mojo needs more heat than Zack. Zack's established. He can jump in and out of jobberdom.
Yeah, he doesn't do it. Okay, so then what about the tag teams? The Four Corners Tag Team Championship match. Usos are champion versus New Day versus Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus Rusev and Aiden English.
After that, Rusev and Aiden English going over the Usos on SmackDown, you have to have the Usos win.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going different directions.
No. You have to have the Usos retain.
I got Usos winning because I just don't want to see
They need to rebuild what they've lost on this go-home show. And that's, can I just say that the point of a go-home show is not so that on the pay-per-view, your champions have to rebuild their heat. Okay. You don't lose the heat of your champions on the go-home show. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Which is what they did.
Yeah. Okay, so how about Charlotte as champion versus Natalya in a Lumberjill match?
I got an upset on this.
You think Natalya?
I think that Natalya is going to win the championship through interference from the Riot Squad. And the Riot Squad and Charlotte are going to feud.
I got Charlotte.
Okay.
I got Charlotte on that.
It was a tough one for me.
A match which I've placed mid-card, but it probably won't be there, is Breezango versus the Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh, Breezango all the way, bro.
I got Bludgeon Brothers.
I'm not writing... What are you writing that for? Of course it's the Bludgeon Brothers.
Okay, then we got the United States Championship champion Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I got Baron retaining.
I got Bobby Roode.
I think it's a little... I was thinking that, but I think it's a little too early for Bobby. And Ziggler, you don't want to put the championship on.
No, it's definitely not going on Ziggler. I just think it needs to come off. I know he's your boy, but it needs to come off Corbin.
Corbin, he is my boy, and he'll always be my boy,
hot.
but he's not doing much at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bobby Roode is hot still.
I just think Bobby's it's a little too early for Bobby. I can see them doing that at Royal Rumble.
Okay. Okay, and here we go. So, special guest referees.
I think this is going to be the main event.
Daniel, you think so? It's going to go over the championship?
Yeah, because the last 3-4 weeks they've been booking it as the main event.
I hate that, but okay. Okay, so AJ Styles champion versus Jinder Mahal.
I had Jinder.
Okay.
I had Jinder.
You had Jinder.
Now I'm going with AJ.
I don't want it, but I think Jinder.
I thought that. The only reason I'm not thinking it is because my booking has got quite a lot of heels going over.
Okay.
So you need like a babyface win. And on top of that, did you see Triple H beat Jinder clean in India?
I did see that. So you think Jinder's push is now dead?
I don't think it's dead. I don't think it's dead because Triple H showed that they had massive respect for him, that he had massive respect for him and things like that.
Okay.
I think it's just cooled down a little bit. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think it's just stopped.
Okay.
But I think they've cooled it down. I think AJ's going to retain.
Because if, say, Jinder did win the championship, that leads to maybe a rematch at the Rumble. But Jinder can't be at WrestleMania as champion.
No.
So maybe it does go to AJ.
And another thing I've got AJ retaining for is that you've only just put the belt on him.
Yeah.
And he's gone toe-to-toe with Brock, and then losing to Jinder. Not only does it not make sense, but it kind of makes him look a bit weak. Like,
it does.
Your first rematch with Jinder, you lose.
I'm sticking with my theory, though, that AJ only won the belt to go against Brock
I believe
for the
that
strength
too.
of that match.
I believe that too.
I reckon it's going. I don't know. I don't know with this one, but I'll stick with my booking just to be different from you.
Okay, well that would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I actually had Jinder, I crossed him out, but I've got AJ retaining.
Okay, and then what you think is the main event is special guest referees Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon.
Dude,
Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
I'm pretty clear on this one being Owens and Zayn.
Yeah, it has to be. Because otherwise they get fired. They're not getting fired.
Through what you like to call shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
And it's either going to be shenanigans from Bryan or shenanigans from Shane.
Both.
I'm not really sure.
Both. I think this is where Daniel Bryan will heel turn, and they're going to be at it. I think actually maybe no one will win. Maybe it'll be like a crazy fucking DQ no contest bullshit.
Are you looking forward to this card?
I'm looking forward to Usos.
I would have been if they didn't have Aiden
Rusev
English
and
and
Aiden English
Rusev.
wasn't in that match, and I'm excited for Bobby Roode becoming champion.
I thought you were going to say I'm excited for the Botching brothers.
Not yet. They're going to get there.
I'm not looking forward to anything on this
Do
show.
you reckon if they build up the Bludgeon Brothers big enough, they could put him back with Braun? Because they're giving them the same slow rise as they gave Braun.
I think you should keep them separate.
Anyway, so I've been thinking, I've got a fun game for you.
I'm not looking forward to this show.
Not looking forward. Well, I've got something that will make you a bit more excited for it.
What?
Okay, so we've got our picks, and we've differed on a few. So whoever gets the most wins, the loser has to take like some sort of punishment.
What kind of punishment?
Well, so I'm thinking that this week we go easy. So I'm thinking just like a tablespoon of like hot sauce or something.
What? No! Why did this? No! Why is this a thing?
Why not?
Now you're making me look like a pussy on air.
No, it's not pussy.
I don't want a tablespoon of...
Hey, well, make sure you win then.
Why
Why
I
not?
don't want a tablespoon of hot sauce. Think of something else.
Okay, we'll think of something else
Okay,
between now
so there'll be
and now
some
and
sort
next
of...
week.
There'll be a gimmick.
There'll be there's a gimmick.
Gimmick Jones.
There's a punishment for whoever get only on Clash of Champions. We won't do it on Ring of Honor because you don't really know what's going on.
I would love if I beat you on
Ring of Honor.
If I beat you on Ring of Honor predictions, you have to do something.
Okay, all right. But I'm going to beat you on Clash of Champions because there's no way Bobby Roode isn't going to win. Anyway,
Dreaming, bro.
That's our week in the roundup. See you later. You're done, Audi. Where you going? What are you doing?
I'm going.
Are you out or in?
I'm in.
Right, you go first with your fun.
It's not fun.
Fun segment.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
No.
Is it serious?
Serious. It's a history lesson,
Your
Dan.
serious segment of
Be attentive.
the week.
Take notes.
I'll take notes. I got a pen. I got paper.
So this was the Brawl for All tournament. You ever heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I can't remember what it is.
This was a shoot fighting tournament.
Okay.
Featured on Raw from June the 28th, 1998 to August the 24th, 1998.
And was it ever repeated?
No.
It was a one-time thing.
This was a legit shoot.
They actually
was a
did
shoot.
it. Okay. As what, like boxing or wrestling? Or?
Well, these were the rules. So you had 3 1-minute rounds.
Okay.
You had boxing gloves on.
Yeah.
It was 5 points for the most punches
Okay.
in a round.
Yeah.
5 points for a takedown.
Okay.
Or 10 points for a knockdown.
Okay.
So it was just a mix of everything
So
with boxing gloves on.
it was early MMA. It was
You couldn't really do any submission holds or anything.
dark years. Yeah, but you got takedown.
Yeah, you got takedowns.
What years was it, sorry? 1980.
Summer of 98.
Yeah, so UFC had done some big pay-per-views by this point. So, okay.
So it was created by Vince Russo.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
But it was created by Vince Russo purely because he was sick and tired of JBL boasting that he could take anyone in the locker room.
Alright.
Like, legit take anyone in the
So
locker room.
you just want to see if
So-
JBL...
Yeah, so Russo's like, fine, shoot fight tournament. We'll see. They had nothing going on. What was even more interesting was it was a completely voluntary tournament. So it was all the guys that thought they were legit hard.
Wow.
And the wrestlers were giving cash bonuses to entice them to enter.
That's crazy.
It's cool, right?
Did it take place on a show? Was it?
It was on every week of Raw. There was 2 fights on every week of Raw. So I'll just quickly run through your participants.
All right, go for it.
You got Bradshaw, JBL.
Yep.
Droz.
Okay.
The Godfather.
All right.
Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
Yep.
Too Cold Scorpio.
All right.
Savio Vega.
Okay.
Mark Mero. Hawk. Bob Holly. Pierre, who fought in his eye patch. He was the pirate gimmick you were talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Like, that's just carny wrestling, isn't it?
Yep.
This is a shoot fight tournament. You still fight in your eye patch.
Okay.
Baracus. 8 Ball, who was one of the Harris brothers. Mark Canterbury, who was one of the Godwins, who decided to go by his own name.
Okay.
And Dan Seven.
Is that not the winner right there?
We'll
get to that. Dan Seven. Was he? I didn't even know he was affiliated with WWE.
He was not only affiliated, but he was wrestling matches in '98.
Really?
Yeah, he was part of the roster.
Was this before Ken Shamrock?
No, this was when Ken Shamrock was massive.
Well, and he wasn't in this.
Ken Shamrock backed out. Didn't want anything to do with it.
All right.
Probably because he was getting a push.
Okay.
But anyway, they
probably because he saw Dan Seven was in it. So I don't want to get beaten up by him.
So they gave 100,000 to Dr. Death Steve Williams before the tournament was even over, because they were convinced he would win, and they wanted to go to a major program with Steve Williams versus Steve Austin on pay-per-view. That was the plan.
This is crazy.
I know, it's so crazy. Then Steve Williams got knocked out by Bart Gunn, who was a jobber at the time, in the second round of the tournament.
Yeah, see, this whole thing just really fucks up your kayfabe. And surely they should have thought about that beforehand.
Jim Cornette called it the stupidest thing I've ever fucking seen in wrestling.
Yeah, because it's just going to ruin up all your plans.
Well, so Bart Gunn, you got this jobber Bart Gunn, right? He can't speak, he can't do anything. He knocks out...
apparently he can fight.
He can fight, bro. He knocks out Steve Williams in the second round, Godfather in the semi-finals, and Bradshaw in the finals.
So he wins?
He wins.
So the jobber wins?
Yes.
That's a pure underdog. Did he get a push afterwards?
He got a push up until WrestleMania 15. What do you do with your shoot fight champion? You put him in a legit boxing match against a boxer.
Butterbean.
Yeah.
That's the Butterbean
Got knocked out in 15 seconds. Why would you do that? I'm convinced they did it to derail his push. Yeah. They didn't want him winning. Anyway, Droz, who was doing a puking gimmick at the time.
Alright.
He was called Droz the Puke, and he would puke before and after his matches.
Okay.
Looked hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Which just, again, destroyed their... It's like what you're talking about with what if Swagger beat Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, all of their ideas and their gimmicks and who's the jobber and who's not got destroyed in this tournament.
Yeah, it's really gonna flip
Droz
everything
looked
up.
really good. Bart Gunn won. The Godfather looked hard as nails. He's legit. Like, serious. Godfather was hard.
But he only got to the semis.
Yeah. Well, he got knocked out by Bart Gunn.
Okay.
Also, the Godfather was Vince's pick. Vince Russo's pick. Right. Dan Seven beat the Godfather in the first round.
Okay. And then he lost.
Well, he said he pulled out because he had nothing to prove.
Okay.
I watched the fight.
Yeah.
The Godfather nearly had him. Dan Seven did not look good.
Really?
Yeah, he won on points.
Okay.
The Godfather basically nearly knocked him out 3 times. So he pulled himself out of that because he's a UFC champion.
Who would he gone against in the next round? Do you know?
Steve Blackman.
Okay.
Steve Blackman was in it. He looked good, but he got injured. And this is what I wanted to get to. Steve Blackman got really injured. Right. Steve Williams had a torn hamstring. Godfather had injuries that kept him out for months after this. Savio Vega aggravated an old arm injury and never wrestled again. And Brackus retired as a result of his injuries.
Jesus.
So this was just a stupid fucking idea.
But what do you expect? Like, actual fighters only fight 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Exactly.
This is crazy.
I also had Bradshaw tried to look as hard as possible. In between rounds, he refused to drink water or sit down on a stool because he was like, "I'm the man."
Well, yeah, because this whole thing was made for him, right?
Yeah. And
he got to the final.
He got to the final, and you just looking in his face when he was doing these, you could tell he was a bully arsehole. Like, just looking at it, he just threw the guys and roughed them and looked like he just, when you got the eyes of a bully.
Yeah.
Bradshaw had those.
Yeah.
And there was this one fight they're having with Mark Merrow, who was like a legit boxer back in the day. And Bradshaw was told to break, and he didn't break. He refused to. He did that a lot in the tournament. He refused to listen to the ref.
This is a wanker then.
Yeah. And Mark Merrow, he didn't break, and then he took Mark Merrow down. And Mark Merrow shouts extremely loudly. Because they award Bradshaw 5 points for the takedown. Mark Merrow shouts, "That wasn't a fucking takedown. He was told to fucking get off me." Like, in front of everyone. The crowd's silent, so you could just hear this really loud. And the crowd also chanted for the whole tournament, "We want wrestling."
Ah,
they hated it.
Brilliant.
They hated it.
So it didn't even...
So yeah, that was that. But,
well, yeah, because you pay to go to a wrestling show, and then you see this...
They lowered the lights as well. Like boxing, they lowered the lights.
So it's this stupid shoot fight going on.
So that was one of Vince Russo's genius ideas. Bart Gunn won. And to completely derail the thing, he got knocked out by Butterbean 15 seconds and then was immediately released.
Wow. So the whole thing, yeah, great.
Nice little vault lesson for you.
Do you know the other Vince McMahon's opinion on this whole thing?
I don't, I'm afraid. I don't.
I wonder if he was into it or not.
Even the people involved said it was awful.
I imagine he was very much into the idea. Like, he loved the idea.
Well, he's willing to try anything out, isn't he?
But then I imagine as it was going on, it was...
But credit to them, there was only one match which was featured in highlights. Every single one of these fights was shown on Raw in its entirety.
Wow. Wow.
And the finals, they were into it.
That's a lot of trust. The finals took place at a pay-per-view or on
No, on Raw. But
Raw.
towards the semi-finals, the crowd finally started getting into it. So I'm glad I saw that.
Yeah.
And Bart Gunn was the hardest bloke in that roster at the time. And Dan Severn.
I'm disappointed in Dan Severn.
Dan Severn seemed like a massive pussy.
Well, he's not, but...
Well, he nearly got killed by Godfather and then he backed out.
Isn't Godfather like 300 pounds?
So? It's wrestling.
Well...
It's just a shoot. But I was most impressed by Droz. But he was doing a puke gimmick, but he didn't do it in this.
Okay, good, because that wouldn't have worked.
So, yeah, that was my history lesson.
Okay, so...
you didn't even say thank you.
Thank you for your history lesson. I'm glad I know a bit more about shoot wrestling in WWE. WWF. Alright, so all the way from back then, let's go to something a bit more modern. We're going to catch up with what Billy Corgan's up to.
In our new segment. What is Billy Corgan up to?
What's Billy Corgan up to today?
The saviour.
Yeah, the saviour of NWA. So, we've been watching the £10 of Gold...
really good, well-produced stuff.
Web series, I guess?
Yeah, it's a YouTube series.
And we've been following the life of Tim Storm, who is the current NWA champion. Nobody really knows who he is. So we're getting to know him. There's been a lot of cool... he's been saying the same thing every episode, pretty much. But we've seen him defend the title 3-4 times. 3 times.
Good, honest to God babyface.
There's been a lot of cool matches, is what I was going to say. So we've seen title defences and a few feuds, and the main feud has been with Nick Aldis. The most recent week, the title was defended in CZW. Nick Aldis came out, they had a match. Nick Aldis won to become the new NWA champion. I just want to get your opinion on why they would switch from Tim Storm, who has been champion for like years, right? He's been like the face of NWA. No one's cared about NWA, but he's been the face of it. Do you think they've gone with Nick Aldis because Nick Aldis has somewhat of a name value, popularity?
It does seem a bit sudden, because I think maybe to Billy Corgan it doesn't seem sudden, because he's had this promotion for quite a while now and he's built up Tim Storm. But to the internet audience, we've only just gotten to know the guy.
9 episodes.
9 episodes. We've just gotten to know the guy, and now he's gone. I thought it was too soon, but I do agree with you. I think that Nick Aldis...
Also, when we say 9 episodes, that's 9 20 to 30 minute... It's not even that long. It's
10 minutes.
10 to 20 minute episodes. Yeah. So it's not even a full wrestling program yet.
No. I think they definitely should have kept it on Tim Storm for a while.
I think so.
And gone around him for a while, because that was their new face that nobody had heard of, that people were paying attention to, because a lot of people, including myself, got really involved in his story. Like, he's a school teacher. He's been with his wife for 40 years.
A proper underdog as well.
It's lovely.
Like, he just wants to keep the belt and like bring attention to the belt. And
I loved it. I would have kept with that for a while. I can see why they've gone with Nick Aldis.
I liked that every single defense he had was in a different promotion.
That's cool as well. I like what Billy Corgan's doing.
And then it was set up for him versus Tommy Dreamer in House of Hardcore.
Yeah,
which hasn't now going to happen.
They said to each other, "You're welcome over to my promotion anytime."
Yeah.
Not that Tim Storm really has a promotion. Like you were saying last week, he's got a belt and a name value.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
They
Billy
haven't
Corgan
got any
has.
TV tapings or just general shows.
Yeah. So I'm still confused a little bit with Billy Corgan's direction, and I'm not sure Nick Aldis is the face to put on your confusing direction.
Well, look, it's very very early days, and they need. I assume Billy Corgan thinks they need some sort of recognition in the wrestling world, and Nick Aldis is that.
Yeah.
I just think that if they had spent more time and been a little bit more patient, they could have had their Tim Storm.
Yeah. Well, I think there's going to be a feud and there's going to be a rematch.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a storyline in this.
But then if they're doing a storyline, why'd you take him off him first time? Let Tim Storm have a couple of victories and then take it off him.
Yeah. Because I read a lot online that a lot of people were saying, well, why didn't he, if it was in a CZW show, why didn't he drop it to one of the CZW guys? I don't know many of the CZW guys, but apparently there's a lot of like better talkers and better workers than Nick Aldis. So my thinking is, it's literally name value.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's just name value. Which disappoints me. I thought Billy Corgan was a bit beyond that.
I've also never... Yeah, but he is trying his damned hardest to get NWA out of the complete
Yeah,
race.
he wants to bring recognition to it.
So you need some name recognition like that. I've never liked Nick Aldis. I still don't like Nick Aldis. He's never appealed to me.
No.
I've always found him incredibly boring.
So that's it, really. That's what Billy Corgan's up to right now.
Still positive.
We'll check in next week.
Still positive
we'll
about
check in.
See you, Billy.
Right. What else you up to? What you got? This
Well,
week, right?
What do you mean this week?
On
this
day,
Ben.
wrestling.
On this day, my favourite part.
This is it.
This is my favourite part.
This is why you
of the
turn
whole
up.
show. This is why I turn up. This is why I sit with you for 2 hours. You know, by the way, we don't actually talk to each other anymore. We just do this podcast and then leave.
Yeah, well, because we've got nothing else to talk about during the week now.
Apart from wrestling. All about that wrestling,
right.
man. You know, I was making notes. I was making like 6-7 pages of notes today. My dad came in. He was like, "Why are you making all these notes? It's just a carnival." Then he walked out again. On this day, 13th of December.
Okay.
So you want to hear about my pay-per-views that I found?
Yeah, what happened on this day?
Do you want me to go from start to finish or finish to start? I'll do start to finish.
Oh, yeah.
So the first one was Starrcade 89.
Well, that's the biggest show.
Featuring the legendary match between Ric Flair and Sting.
Okay.
In your main event. But you also had an Iron Man tournament going on.
Okay.
Of singles and tag teams. It was a complete Iron Man tag single thing.
Alright.
It was 20 points for a pinfall. And 15 for a count-out victory. 10
the
for
singles and the
disqualification.
tags, like, were they connected? Or
No.
was it just two separate tournaments?
There's 2 separate tournaments with 2 separate finals.
Okay.
The Road Warriors won the final of the tags.
Okay.
Sting won the final of the singles against Ric Flair.
Alright.
Just something of interest as well. Ric Flair defeated the Great Muta in 1 minute and 55 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
What?
And it took Sting a full 8 minutes and 41 seconds. So Great Muta was having a good night.
Wow.
Next I've got for you.
Okay.
WWE In Your House Rock Bottom 1998.
Alright.
Looked like
this had a lot of... This was Rock's showcase then, I'm assuming.
he was in the championship match against Mankind.
And won?
Mankind won this.
Wow, okay.
It was a month before the 8 chair shots at Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Remember that?
Yep.
Steve Austin versus Taker in a Buried Alive match. You had the Headbangers versus Golga and Kurgan.
No.
They were a tag team of the Oddities.
Alright. I don't remember them.
Okay, well, it's a moment best forgotten, I think.
Well, you drudged it back up.
Well, yeah, that's my job, bro. They were the Oddities, and one of them was dressed as South Park.
He's dressed as what, the entire South? He's just dressed as South Park.
No, wait, no. He had like a brown mask on his face, and then he carried around South Park everywhere.
Okay.
So,
all right.
that was the oddities.
That's them.
You also had New Age Outlaws vs Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock for the tag titles.
Oh, cool.
It sounds like a decent card.
Yeah.
In like a wrestle crap way. New Age Outlaws.
Okay.
TLC 2009.
All right.
Sheamus won his first championship in a tables match against Cena.
Really? 2009?
Mm-hmm.
That's later than
And it was a really dodgy finish. Like, I think Cena grazed his shoulder on a table, and then Sheamus won.
Oh, like one of those, like, Big Show puts his foot through a table.
You also had, and I remember it, and you'd love it, an excellent ECW title ladder match between Christian and Shelton Benjamin.
Is that the one where Christian became champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Taker vs Batista in a chairs match for the championship.
Wow, that
chairs match.
Yeah, I love those chairs matches.
Kofi Kingston was having a push at the time against Orton.
Okay.
Before it got completely demolished.
So Kofi won?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was a push.
Calm your shit. It was just a push.
And in your main event, how often do you see the tag team titles in your main event?
Never.
You do when DX are the main event.
Oh, okay.
DX versus Jericho, TLC for the tag titles.
I remember Jericho. I loved them.
Yeah, so did I.
I loved that.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And then most recently, you had TLC 2015.
Okay.
You sound less interested in this one. You had a great match with the... I remember this show. You had a great match with the New Day versus the Usos versus Kalisto and Sin Cara in a triple threat ladder match. I swear we watched this together.
Yeah.
That was really good.
That sounds yeah.
Your classic shit chairs match.
Yep.
It's not quite Batista Taker. Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger for the US Championship.
Oh, I can imagine forcing myself through that one.
The Wyatt fam, this was interesting, and I think this is the one that you remember and are still really upset about.
Okay.
The Wyatt family versus the Dudleys, Rhino, and Tommy Dreamer.
Oh!
Elimination tag table.
Oh!
And
why'd you have to bring this shit up?
Isn't this the one?
This is the one!
This is the one where he teases
Shh!
This is the one where he teases the fire.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, he pours the gasoline all over the table and then he gets the lighter above the air and I'm thinking, this is PG era fucking WWE.
I have a very young neighbour next door and you're getting extremely animated over a wrestling show from 2015.
I remember 2015.
Yeah,
I remember
2 years ago.
2 years ago. I remember we were both sat on my living room floor watching this.
Yeah, I remember.
Eating something. And but that was it. Once that had happened, the show was ruined for me. I couldn't watch the rest of the entire show. I remember you sobbed
for the rest of the night.
I went upstairs to my girlfriend, and she didn't understand at all what was going on. I was like, "That's it. I can't watch wrestling."
That's the night that you actually went upstairs and had a sulk with her.
I did. I had a sulk with my girlfriend
while she's trying to sleep
during the next match, and then I came back down. I was so pissed off because they teased. Why would you tease it? Why would you even tease it if you're not going to do it?
Just so Bully Ray can get some satisfaction out of a mark like you.
But what? No, he just...
And if he knew that you have just gotten upset over this from 2 years ago, he would be laughing.
He would love it, wouldn't he?
He would love it.
I just... pissed me off so much.
Your main event was Sheamus versus Roman Reigns.
I don't think I remember it, because I was...
It was excellent. It was a TLC match, Sheamus versus Roman Reigns. Really, really good.
I think I do remember
Sheamus retained his belt.
Over Roman Reigns? Wow.
Yeah, Sheamus had a title run.
Yeah, well, he's had a few now.
Most people don't remember that one. Anyway, on this day, December the 13th, birthdays.
Let's do it.
I could only find 2.
Okay.
And they might be quite difficult.
Right.
Inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004. Wrestled for WWE from 1984 to 88. NWA 1988 to 93. Faced Greg Valentine for the IC Championship at WrestleMania 1 and Harley Race at WrestleMania 3. Any idea?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Wrong.
I was just going off the WrestleManias.
One of his signature moves was getting on all fours and headbutting his opponent.
Oh, Junkyard Dog.
Yeah.
Give me that one, come on.
Yeah.
You didn't think I was going to get it?
No, I didn't think you were going to get it. My next couple were arguably the most popular black wrestler of the 1980s. And I think you would have gotten that because there was only one. Yeah, well, I would say happy birthday to Junkyard Dog.
He died, didn't he?
He died in a car crash in 1998.
Was it that long ago? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My other one.
Yep.
A former Canadian Ring of Honor champion who worked for the company full-time from 2010 to 2016.
That's all you're giving me?
I've got a few more, but I don't want to give it away.
Canadian. I never know who's Canadian American though.
Okay. Give you another one?
Yeah, give me another one.
Won the IWGP Intercontinental Championship from Kenny Omega in a ladder match. You're not watching your New Japan, are you?
What year? I've only recently got into New Japan.
2016. June 19th.
Oh, no, that's when I started getting into New Japan.
I think you'll get this one.
Canadian. I'm hung up on the Canadian.
In the New Japan World Tag League of 2017.
Is it not Chris Hero, is it?
He teamed with Jeff Cobb.
Oh, what, this year? The one that just happened?
The one that you just watched?
Just watched, with Jeff Cobb. Who was with Jeff Cobb? Michael Egan.
Michael Elgin, yeah.
Elgin.
Happy birthday, Michael Elgin.
Happy birthday, Michael Elgin. I didn't know he was Canadian. That's the problem.
Did you enjoy my segments this week?
I did. I loved it.
Thank
I loved it. I can't believe I actually got both of them right this time.
I'm quite proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this week we're going to go through the fun news. Pre-warning, it's not very fun this week.
I think you should rename it. Because you're not going to get loads of nice serial news related stories every week.
It was it was more fun last week. So we're going to start with so this week the USA Network are doing WWE week, right? Yeah. They're having a WWE program on every single. No, I'm not watching any more wrestling this week.
Okay.
I'm done. But anyway, so NXT is debuting on commercial TV.
Yes.
Now, sorry, before you say anything, is NXT doing really, really well that it can now go on commercial TV, or is Network doing very bad that they need to move it elsewhere?
I didn't even think about that aspect of it. I'm a selfish human being.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I thought was, what about me? Is it leaving the network?
Mm.
So what are they doing with it?
I don't think it's leaving the network.
Because this 2-hour special, is this the same show that will be on the network? Or is this just a completely different thing? Or is it a compilation of previous weeks? What is it? Okay, I don't know.
Well, the way I read it was that it was just this week's NXT.
I think it's doing... No, I read it was a special.
Okay.
I think it's doing well, and they're trialing it to see whether it does okay on TV.
Because my thinking is that NXT does really well. And obviously they're all about... The whole reason Raw's 3 hours is to get that advertising money, right? Mm. So I'm thinking they want to put it on commercial TV so it can find a new audience. Because you can't find a new audience stuck behind a paywall, which is what Network is.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I think it's just testing the waters to see whether they can get a whole new generation of fans involved.
Definitely. I think if it does well, you'll see Network on USA quite a bit. But I'm just a bit confused by the TV contracts, because if it did do very well...
it now means NXT will be behind, like Raw and SmackDown's behind on
They wouldn't be happy with that, though. WWE wouldn't be happy with that, because NXT is one of their main selling points.
Yeah.
It's what apparently...
It confuses me completely.
After pay-per-views, NXT is the thing that everybody tunes in for.
Yeah.
So if you take that away, or at least take away the 2-week... If you put it on 2 weeks after it's appeared...
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think you might lose your subscribers.
Yeah.
And WWE Network has already lost 60,000 subscribers this year, so they don't really want any more.
But you have to weigh up that whether is commercial TV going to make them more money than their subscriptions.
Oh, it definitely make them more money, but I would be focusing on the network and keeping it strong.
Bottom line, the company cares about making money.
Yeah, but they'd also want network as a long-term goal, don't they? So...
But Network's stuck behind...
Unless they could work out a deal of syndicating it at the same time.
The only problem is, like I said, it's stuck behind a paywall. So when you find that next generation of wrestling fans, you got to find them before you get them to pay. That's the whole problem with subscription.
I also don't think NXT would do particularly well on USA Network anyway.
I don't think...
It does so well on WWE Network because the people that buy WWE Network are hardcores.
Yeah, and it's so anti... major.
It's
WWE.
for hardcores.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that they'll get the audience that they desire.
Okay. So we'll see next week what happens with that.
Sure. I reckon they might put it on late as well, later in the evening.
Yeah.
Because they're not really aiming at kids for it, are they?
No.
So.
Okay, so I think he's gonna pop up every week because of course he is. The Rock is in my news again. Who do you think I was on about then?
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. So the fun one, not really in the realms of wrestling, but he's expecting his second daughter.
Fantastic. Well done, Rocky.
That's nice for The Rock.
Got your rock hard rock.
More more exciting. Well, not for him, but he's gonna get his star on the Hollywood Boulevard.
I'm sure.
Finally.
I don't think The Rock is as nice a person as everybody thinks he is.
I think he's the best person on the planet.
That's what he wants you to think. I think he's more happy about his star of Hollywood than his second child.
You think?
Yes.
I don't
I'm
think
not putting it out there and saying that.
I don't think he is.
Well,
I thought he already had a star in Hollywood. I didn't realise.
Yeah, it's no biggie. Everybody's got a star in Hollywood.
Okay, alright, fine. Okay, so following up from...
I'm in a bad mood. I can't deal with The Rock today.
Okay, fine.
I don't like The Rock.
We'll move on from The Rock. Why do you... I love The Rock.
I love The Rock most days. But
Okay,
he's just too
alright.
happy and he's doing all these nice things with his life.
He's such a great
I'm
guy.
sitting here talking about them.
Alright, Jesus. Right. So following up from last week's John Cena car news...
Okay.
I have more John Cena car news.
Oh, what? No, there's not just more John Cena news, more Cena news specifically dealing with cars.
Yes.
Great. This should be a section.
This is fun. So, someone, I can't remember, Sportsnet? Someone did an article about sports people and their car collections. John Cena has the 5th biggest car collection amongst sports people, totaling to, I think it was, something like 6 million.
$6 million.
Yeah, of course.
That's ridiculous, John.
That's also going to be used in Ford's argument in their suing court case. That he has all these cars, why did he have to sell their car and not another car?
I think John Cena should sue Sportsnet.
Yeah, like this is damaging. More Cena news. His financial team has cancelled a booking in which Cena was meant to turn up in Sheffield, UK, because apparently the promotion did not pay on time.
What promotion? What are you talking about? John Cena?
John Cena was meant to turn up to do like a, an autograph session in Sheffield.
By who?
I don't know. I don't know.
Non-WWE affiliated?
Yeah, non-WWE affiliated. But the main news is a woman paid...
Sheffield?
Yeah, in Sheffield.
I'm still processing.
So the main point of this story is a mum paid £350 for her son to see John Cena and get a photo and a signature, but it's been cancelled, so now her 8-year-old won't see John Cena.
Good, spoiled little shit.
No, like fuck John Cena.
No, spoiled little shit.
So
getting his mum to pay £350 to meet a dude.
Yeah, well, she sold like a lot of personal possessions.
Well, then she's stupid, isn't she?
So anyway, there's like a Twitter thing now going like...
Oh, don't go away.
John Cena, okay.
Nah, Cena for life, mate.
All right, we'll move on to
I
feel like my news is bringing you down. I've got to bring out something better.
I think to myself, what's Ben got in store for me today? And a lot of the time it confuses me. But then later I think, where the fuck did he get that from?
Alright, I got some more stuff. Right. Sting was at Comic Con Wales. That's the news.
I gotta tell you, man.
No, there's more news.
I was really proud of you for finding certain things, but now you're just scraping the barrel. Where did you go for that one? Did you go on Sting's official website or Comic Con's official website? Or did you just type in what's happening with Wales and Sting? Where did you get that from? I don't understand where you got that from.
No, there's more of a story to this. Hold on. He was videoed at Wales Comic Con saying that he wants to have one more match before he retires against The Undertaker. Because he's had back surgery now and he thinks he can go.
Tough shit, Sting.
What's your problem, Sting?
I still don't understand what that means.
Okay.
Taker's done, Sting's over the hill. There's no point to that.
They could wrestle maybe at Comic Con Wales next year.
Nah, that's more... Was there anybody else at Comic Con Wales?
I don't know.
You don't even do a proper job when you're researching Comic Con Wales.
I wasn't researching. That's a byline. The story was that. Never mind.
I don't care about the story.
Right,
the best bit was
let's move over to Abu Dhabi. Alexa Bliss. Abu Dhabi.
All right.
Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks in the first women's championship match in the Middle East ever. I'm not going to say much because this is a heavy topic. I just want to say one thing that has not been mentioned by WWE or any major news thing. That instead of like a "This is awesome" chant started, there was a "This is hope" chant started.
This is hope.
This is hope.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Why hasn't that been on?
I know that should have been on. I felt it should have been on Raw.
I think Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks should be very proud of themselves.
I think they are. But
that's nice.
But there's a lot of yeah, that's nice. See, it's nice.
It's nice.
Right.
It's not fun.
Oh, okay, fine. Not this one. The next one's great. You're gonna love it. Okay, but first we've got to do this one.
Oh, we got to do the main story of the week.
No, not yet.
Breaking news.
Not yet.
Oh.
I'm gonna do that last. I'm gonna leave on a sad note again.
Okay.
So, next one, Jason Jordan's push. Why do you think he's being pushed? Not because he's Kurt Angle's son.
Because I don't know. Why is he being pushed?
A focus group poll came out that the WWE had done about 6 months ago, right? And they had polled a whole range of different people in their demographic, and it turned out that to women, Jason Jordan was their second favourite.
Because he's attractive.
I can't imagine why, because of all the abs and how tall he is, and that he's milky brown and got a nice face.
What? Milky brown?
So Roman Reigns...
I don't even know whether that's offensive or not.
No, it's not.
You made him sound like a chocolate bar.
So Roman Reigns was number 1 to women, and Jason Jordan was number 2.
So Vince is listening to the females.
So because he's attractive to females, he's got his crazy push and being split up from Chad Gable. So unfortunately, Chad Gable is not attractive enough.
Well, he's not, is he?
Well, no. He's a better wrestler. Okay. This one you're gonna like. So, Mia Khalifa is a porn star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you going with this?
So she got on Twitter saying, wrestling is a fake sport and embarrassing. This is where Ronda Rousey's career goes to die.
Is she a UFC fan?
I guess so. Our boy, Gregory Hurricane Helms.
What? Retweeted her?
He gets on Twitter, and I'm going to read you his tweet. His actual tweet is...
Can you read it? If he puts you as you, can you specify that, please?
He doesn't say you.
Okay.
He says, I'm not going to get upset that a porn star doesn't respect pro wrestling. She's entitled to her own opinions. Our bodies take a beating, though, and, well, so does hers.
Yo, Hurricane standing up for the masses.
There was an unbelievable shitstorm following this. Like, if you could think this goes further, it went much further.
It doesn't really surprise me because wrestling and porn have always been like one step away from each other.
Yeah. So, he got bashed by so many people saying, "Oh, so many." You know what? I'm gonna leave it there. So,
You blew your load.
This next one is not so far away from that. Bill Damon.
Oh, that wanker.
Yeah, he is making his acting debut in a film called The Kama Sutra Garden.
Sometimes you come up with stories that, and like I try to vocalise and I can't, and then I make a noise that I've never heard from my own mouth before. You just made me do that. Bill, where the fuck did you find this one? Were you looking up Bill DeMott or Kama Sutra? Or Bill DeMott Kama Sutra? Did you just stumble across this one?
I stumbled across this. Not only did I stumble across it, I stumbled across the trailer. What's the trailer?
Okay.
Now,
Any good?
It's not a porno, which you're probably thinking.
What is it?
It's just a really horrible B movie. So, Bill DeMont plays this rich billionaire who invites...
Bill DeMott plays a billionaire.
Yeah.
Stinky Bill DeMott with his stinky rag on his head.
Yeah. He invites a documentary filmmaker to come to the opening of his Vegas brothel, which teaches the girls the Kama Sutra ways of lovemaking. And then the synopsis doesn't really say anything, but the trailer makes it out that someone gets murdered. So I think that's the main story of the film.
Didn't he get fired from WWE for
Being
makers? Yeah, and also making wrestlers wrestle naked.
Oh yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
So that's right up his street.
So
that's the best piece of news.
That was the best one.
That was my favourite.
All right, so now we have to go to something sad.
Why do we always end on this?
Well, no.
Why didn't you end on your cracker of a Bill DeMott Sting Comic Con in Wales combo?
I got to get better.
I'm upset that you you went further than just saying Sting was at Comic Con Wales.
I should have left it there.
That should have been your main news.
Fine, we don't need to do this next one.
No, we've got to talk about Rich Swann.
Okay, the next one is Rich Swann, who was arrested for battery, kidnap, and false imprisonment of his wife. If you know, but in America, kidnap and imprisonment is a second-degree felony.
I read that he could face up to 10 years in prison.
Well, a second-degree felony is a minimum of 6 years. Felony. That's a minimum of 6 years. So he's looking at 6 years plus if he's found guilty. Now, the first time this came out, it seemed worse than what it maybe actually is, because they didn't really give the details. Once they give the details, it makes a bit more sense. I'm not defending him.
My first thought,
but it makes sense.
Which, looking back, was probably not the first thought I should have had, but my first thought was when I heard kidnapping and battery, I thought to myself, how does a full-time wrestler on a full-time schedule have the time to do that?
Yeah. Well, the first articles that came out was like, oh, he's kidnapping tons of people and putting them in his basement.
I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that at all. So he's married to a fellow wrestler called Veronica Riggs, who goes by the name of Sue Young.
Yep.
So she was out wrestling, and he had gone to her show and picked her up. And then they got into an argument in their car
about her performance.
About her performance of the night. And she got out the car fearing the argument was about to get violent. He chased her, put her in a headlock and dragged her back into the car, locked the car, and a witness says that she was banging the window and screaming for help. Another witness says down the road, while the car was moving, she dived out the car. I
didn't hear that bit.
And he also jumped out the car before it was fully stopped.
I did not hear that bit at all.
And he chased her down again, and I think she got away. But in his defense, he said that he did not touch her, and he only chased her because he needed the GPS that was on her phone.
I read that.
Which is a stupid defense. But they've been married 9 months, and they've been together for 5 years. So it's not quite as evil as the initial reports made out.
It just sounds like... I don't know Rich Swann or his wife, but it just sounds like a classic case of emotionally abusive relationship.
And I think there was a lot of maybe drugs and alcohol.
It doesn't sound like
on this night.
A violent domestic abusive relationship. It sounds like emotional abuse.
It's
controlling and because it started off with him criticising her performance, and that's what made her so upset that it became a full-blown argument. Yeah. So it just sounds like emotional abuse to me.
Yeah. So
which is not a good thing at all.
No, it's not. And I'm not defending him, but it's not quite as bad as maybe...
It's not as bad as things like TMZ will make it out, inevitably make it out to be. Yeah. But it's...
But he suspended her definitely because WWE have zero tolerance on domestic abuse, which is quite right.
I think they handled it quite well, WWE.
Yeah.
It completely blew over them. It's like they didn't even care.
It hasn't touched them at all in the media.
In past years... they've reacted a little too quickly or reacted too extreme or just completely ignored it, and then they get chased by media. But the way they handled it, even on Raw, the way they handled it storyline, it's like...
Well, they waited, because the initial reports came out, and then they waited about 3-4 days until the actual charges came out.
It's strong but nonplussed.
Yeah.
Which is the way to do it.
Yeah. So.
But that doesn't sound like a good relationship.
So that's what that is, and I'm sorry to end my fun news on a more sober news story.
Sting, what's your problem? Why are you at Comic-Con Wales?
Sting, what's your problem? Why are you in Wales, Sting? John Cena's going to lose all his money because of Ford.
Nah, he's not going to lose all his money because of Ford. After 10 years of refusing to marry ever again, he's finally marrying a Bella. He'll lose all his money to that Bella.
Whoa, okay.
Got money on it.
Alright. Our feature of the week is Roman Reigns. Unfortunately not the Shield, because the other two don't really matter anymore.
Whoa.
No, I like the... Well, we're going to see who likes who.
Hey, you want to get into this before we get into this?
We're going to get into this so hard. Alright, so we're going to talk about Roman Reigns, because between you and I, that is a hot topic.
Well, first question.
Okay, first question.
Why do you not like Roman Reigns?
Okay, so I don't dislike Roman Reigns as a worker, right? I think the disconnect comes here is that you seem to like him at top billing, and I feel like he shouldn't be in that position.
Why?
Okay, so my question to you.
No,
because you have to answer the question for me to answer. The question.
You didn't answer.
Yeah,
my
I know, but to go with it, what do you consider as face of the company? Because to me, Roman Reigns cannot be considered as face of the company.
Face of the company shifts merch.
Yeah.
He participates in the workhorse idea of charities, news shows, media.
Yeah.
And he gets the crowd to make the loudest noise.
Okay. So
that's the face.
Yeah. But on top of that, it also has to be a character, because the most important thing to the wrestling show is the characters. So if you look back at every single face, okay, they're not all quite red, white and blue, but they're all some facet of all-American. Some way. Obviously Austin's a bit different, but he was still like an all-American redneck. He drank beer and kicked ass and had guns.
What about Bret Hart?
Was Bret Hart really a face of the company?
He was for a little while.
I'm not...
Between Hogan and Austin...
That was Shawn. Surely Shawn was more
Shawn
than
was
Bret
not
Hart.
the face, because he was, as in your own logic states, a heel cannot be the face. Shawn was a heel. He was not the face. Bret Hart was the face.
Okay, that is my own logic. Yes. Okay, so maybe it doesn't fit all the time, but it just feels like when you talk about the biggest people, you have Hogan, Austin, Cena. Roman Reigns doesn't fit in with that.
Maybe the crowd is becoming more intelligent.
Yeah.
Maybe the crowd no longer wants their All-American. Maybe they just want somebody that they can either cheer massively or boo massively or both, which is what Roman Reigns is.
Okay, so to that point then, there should be no one booked as the face of the company. So Roman shouldn't automatically get such a heavy push all the time. He should be winning and losing just as much as the rest of the main eventers.
He does lose. He lost like 5 pay-per-view matches this year.
But not to the point where... What?
You Roman haters think that Roman just gets booked over and over and over again to win, to get shoved down your throats. That used to be the case. It's not anymore. But you're so blinkered, you haven't noticed.
But it's
Roman,
to the point...
Roman lays down to Braun. Roman's laid down several times.
But think of the people that he's laid down to. You say Braun, Brock, like they're the huge heels. He's not put Jason Jordan over.
Yes, he did.
Not really.
He did it. He went 15 minutes with Jason Jordan, who, by your own logic, is a rookie.
Yeah.
He went 15 minutes with Elias. You know the guy that jobbed Elias? Braun.
Why is he not jobbing to Joe? Joe is the one that needs to be pushed to main event.
He went level with Joe. Joe's not pushed to main event because Joe is not showing the initiative to be main event.
Okay.
He's lost steam, and you would agree with that.
I would agree with that.
He is not as good as he was in NXT, and he's not as good as he was in TNA.
But I love Joe, so don't know.
So he's going equal with him. He's not laying down for him because Joe needs to get to the point where Roman could lay down for him like Braun.
Okay, fine. So we both see face of the company in a different way. And you think Roman could be there and I don't. So, but what about him, as part of the Shield? So now they're meant to be back together, but he's obviously still getting a bigger push than the other two.
Yeah.
You think he's better?
Why would he not get a bigger push than the other two?
Because arguably, I'd say Seth Rollins is better every single way.
He's also, I would say,
other than being more over.
I would say that despite Roman's lack of personality, Roman is better. Because Seth Rollins, again, has lost a ton of steam over the last year.
And as an in-ring worker,
I would rather
Rollins
watch.
Is better.
Roman is an all-rounder. I would rather watch Roman in the ring than Rollins.
Really?
Because while Rollins might be technically better, he hasn't got any heat on him. Roman has always got heat on him. Good or bad, Roman has and that's what it comes down to, Ben. Good or bad, Roman has always got heat on him. I watched little YouTube clips of the live show in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I think Abu Dhabi, Triple H versus Roman Reigns. The crowd became unglued for Roman Reigns, both negatively and positively, in Dubai. Abu Dhabi.
Because they've booked him to that position.
So is Joe going to get that reaction in Abu Dhabi, Ben?
Not right now.
No, not right now. That's why Roman is not laying down for him.
Because Roman has had favoritism booking. Because they're pushing him into the face of the company spot.
This is the other argument I don't get. So, you say at one point, oh, he shouldn't be face of the company. He shouldn't be face of the company. It should become naturally. Who's taking it? No one?
Yeah, well...
Braun's taken it, yeah. But they've fucked Braun up because they've put him over Roman and everybody else. That's why he's messing about with Kane at the moment. Well, Roman is the face of the company because he's there every single week and gets the biggest reaction.
Okay, and yeah.
People pay tickets to either see Roman get beat or Roman win. Does that remind you of anyone?
And I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying. That there's no one really else on the roster. And I agree with you. There's no one else on the roster really that can do the job. But I don't think that means they should put all their eggs in his basket. Well, what you were saying just a minute ago, fans are becoming more intelligent. Maybe we don't need a face of the company anymore.
So, okay.
We don't need that one person.
So if you're a fan,
yeah,
and you don't want Roman booked up,
yeah,
stop making so much noise for him. Make just as much noise as you do with Roman on anybody else, and I will guarantee you Vince will listen to you.
I ain't making any noise for Roman.
I'm saying as a general opinion.
Yeah.
The people that hate Roman boo him just as loudly as the kids that cheer him.
Yeah.
So you're not doing anything constructive.
And a spiral effect comes here now. Well, he'll be booked more now because of that.
I understood this anti-Roman thing when he won the Rumble and they brought the Rock out to try and make the crowd a little happier about that. The shoving down the throat thing, I don't think it's shoving Roman down your throats, because if you all remember, a couple of years ago, you were absolutely obsessed with Roman because you thought he was the best part of the Shield.
I was never
when he never spoke, Roman was molten heat.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him, so they thought, hey, everybody loves Roman, let's book him main event. But the problem went here was they booked him face, he had to talk, and that's where you got sick of him. But I don't understand this concept of, oh, Roman shouldn't be the face of the company.
Because there's a difference between Monster Heat and being top billing, like the top guy.
How?
Because there is. Cause
John Cena.
Well, that's a face.
Steve Austin.
Face of the company.
The Rock.
Yeah, but you're just.
They all got the biggest reaction.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure in the 90s.
Chris Jericho at one point had.
He wasn't the face.
Exactly, but he had some of the biggest reactions of all time.
But he doesn't look like the face of the company.
Okay,
he's
here we
too
go.
small.
But Roman doesn't look like face of the company.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
He's built.
He looks like a heel. He's got tattoos everywhere, black hair, and he walks around a bulletproof
He's a
vest.
tweener.
Yeah,
he's a tweener.
That's a stupid argument.
How is it a stupid argument?
Because, you could say Austin was a tweener, but not really, because he was going up against Vince, who was the worst heel ever.
Yeah, so
they kind of positioned his tweener-ish into a perfect babyface.
Roman is just a tweener on the other way.
But, okay, so maybe...
So if Steve Austin is a tweener going towards a face, Roman is a tweener going towards a heel.
So maybe the argument here is for Roman to really become the top, he needs that arch nemesis. To really throw him into the light of...
It's not actually Roman's fault, is it?
It's
having no one else, which is where I come back to when you say Roman shouldn't be the face of the company, and I say, who is then?
But yeah, when you say that, there isn't many other options, and I'm with you on that. I'm saying, I don't look at Roman and I don't put him in the same category as Hogan or Bret Hart, for the sake of argument, or Austin, Rock, or even Cena.
I'm starting to.
I can't see it.
I'm starting to because he's way past the Lex Luger failed attempt.
But at least Cena could talk.
I mean, he retired Taker, and the next night on Raw, he didn't speak for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
he just went to put his mic up, got so booed out of the building that he put it down again.
And that's the best segment he's been involved in all year.
Name any other guy on the roster that can do that. It doesn't matter whether he's put in that position or not. He's put in that position because he can be put in that position.
Yeah, but he's been booked to that position.
Yes,
that's my argument.
But that's what I don't get about you smarks. You say he's been booked to that position. Why isn't my other person that I like booked to that position?
I'm not saying...
Because they don't get that reaction.
I'm not saying there's another person I like that deserves it more. Because on the current roster, I don't think there's any face that could... be the top billing.
So what you're telling me basically
yeah.
is that you don't like Roman as face of the company because you personally subjectively
you're twisting it.
Don't like Roman Reigns.
You're twisting it. Okay. No, you're twisting it. What I'm saying is
That's what you're saying, is
That's
it?
not what I'm saying.
What are you saying then?
Don't want to argue with you anymore.
Why not? you were psyched for this argument.
Yeah.
So go on then.
I prefer Seth Rollins. What's that?
Seth Rollins is already booked to the sky anyway.
Okay.
He's on the cover of WWE 2K18.
Yeah. So Seth Rollins' Finn Balor last year was arguably the best match of the year.
It was good. It was very good.
A lot of people consider it the best.
But is Rollins a face of the company? No.
No, I'm not saying he is, but I'm just saying this year has Roman Reigns had a match of the year.
Did Hulk Hogan ever have match of the year?
Did. He was considered to back in the day.
Technically, no. Not technically. Yeah, you're talking technical.
I'm not
Seth
talking
Rollins
technical.
versus Finn Balor was an amazing technical match.
But everyone loved it.
That is not the main event.
But heat as well.
That is not the main event. The main event is what gets the most heat, what gets the most hype, what gets the most
heat on that show.
Build up. I don't think so. Seth Rollins is a really good technical guy that is I used to be high on, but I now think is really pretty bland. Lacking a personality, and he's just kind of become the go-to workhorse guy.
But that's all the things I've been thinking of Roman forever. I've never seen Roman.
Yeah, because you don't like him. You've never seen Roman that way because you don't like him.
I don't understand why people enjoy his matches.
I don't understand why you don't enjoy his matches, because if you saw him...
But what does he do? That's exciting.
If you saw him objectively, you'd realise that he is able to put on a good match.
I tried to watch him objectively.
Did you not enjoy that Roman Reigns versus Cesaro match?
But I enjoyed Sheamus versus Seth Rollins much more.
Yeah, because you're a Seth Rollins mark.
No, I don't even like Seth Rollins
You're not looking at this objectively.
And I hate Sheamus. But I still preferred that match.
Why did you prefer that match?
If anything, if we're going off who my favourites are, I should have enjoyed Joe versus Ambrose the most.
I think this is the equivalent of the 1980s wrestling fan. If there were podcasts back then, you and me, we're talking about the 1980s, I would be defending Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And you would be saying he shouldn't be the face. Hulk Hogan shouldn't be the face of the company.
Because Hulk
Hogan is balding. He's terrible at work. He can't cut a promo for more than 5 minutes.
But everyone loved Hulk Hogan. I don't think there was anyone back then that didn't think Hulk Hogan was the face.
Of course there was. There was people like me and you, smarks. But they just didn't really exist back then. If you put Hulk Hogan in a main event position in 2017, booked him through the sky, booked him like they did back then, for Christ's sake, you wouldn't watch the product. Reigns is being booked in a better fashion than Cena ever was. He lays down for people. Austin never laid down for that many people. The Rock never laid down for that many people. Roman, you're telling me, oh, Roman doesn't put Jason Jordan over. Would you want Roman to put Jason Jordan over? Realistically, would you want Jason Jordan to beat your supposed face of the company, even if you didn't like said face?
Nah.
No, you wouldn't. Your argument's bullshit. Roman's face of the company. Roman should be face of the company right now.
Okay, alright. So I'll backtrack. The main problem I have then is that Roman doesn't, I think, enough fit the mold for it to be comfortable. It's too out of place. But then your main argument, like, who else have you got, is the thing. There is no one else.
I think that a lot of people hate Roman because I don't think it's Roman's fault. He hasn't been booked correctly. If you got Brock and you never gave him a Paul Heyman and you threw him out there week after week to let him fall on his own ass, promo, to let him just talk for 10 minutes and he had to come up with it and he had to do it and then he had to have matches and he was still pushed down your throat, you would hate Brock because Brock can't talk. Brock has never been able to talk. He hasn't learned promo skills in 15 years.
Yeah.
So, but they booked him correctly. They put a manager behind him. They did stuff with him. He became the face. He had a heel manager when he was a face.
Yeah.
It's not Roman's fault that you don't like him. It's WWE's fault that they haven't booked Roman properly. It's also, I'd like to say, Roman's got like the best cocky grin in the business. He has that look. If you turned him heel, he would get molten heat.
But this is your thing. Like, he works better as a heel than a face.
So does Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he does.
So does Joe.
I agree with that. And I'm not saying Seth Rollins should be face of the company.
So who's your face? You can't have Braun.
Well, we said this before, and I said, other than AJ, but he's going to retire soon, the biggest baby face you had was Sami Zayn.
I think AJ's the face of SmackDown. I think that if you went back on the brand split, AJ might become the face of the company for a while.
But he's too old to like really cement him in that position.
It depends how much you want him for. This feels like a transitory period.
Yeah.
It feels like Roman's got it.
But it feels like we're going to be stuck with Roman for 10 years.
I don't think so. I think if somebody came up and took it, and really just sort of ran with it, and everybody went mental over him, they wouldn't forget about Roman, but Roman would be lessened.
Yeah.
At the moment, Roman is the guy because there's no other guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's Roman's fault. Roman's a solid worker, and I enjoy him very much.
Yeah, but Roman's a solid worker, but there's just nothing special about him.
Was there anything special about Bret Hart?
Well, no. Well, I was literally about to say, like, Roman is the Bret Hart until Stone Cold comes along.
Yeah, so wait for the Stone Cold to come along, but don't have a go at Roman for putting on Class A matches and filling the position for a while. Because Bret Hart's one of my favourite wrestlers.
But he doesn't put on the best matches.
He puts on the most solid... He has the most solid, consistent work rate of an all-rounder. I'm talking about an all-rounder. I'm not talking about technical or high-flying. Just a solid main event
work rate. So like
solid main event work rate. He is right up there with Kevin Owens, who's my number one.
Well, you could put Cesaro in that position.
Cesaro's got less heat, less personality.
Yeah, but heat is just booking.
I think Roman has got the it factor. He's got that special something. It just hasn't been unlocked yet.
He's got cool arm tattoos.
No, Roman's got the special something. It hasn't been unlocked yet. I blame more the booking of Roman than Roman. When you put that feud with Roman versus Cena, remember that feud with Roman versus Cena, and Cena just destroyed him on the mic.
Yeah.
And Roman went silent. He couldn't think of what to say. Instead of Cena covering that, Cena said, "Come on, champ. You know, this is going to be your job now." And he just embarrassed him in front of the entire crowd. Yeah. That doesn't help.
No.
making your main face, who you're pushing to the sky, wear a protective vest every match. That doesn't help.
That needs to go. That's one of the main things that needs to go.
Paul Heyman said, you can make a star out of anybody. It's just how you book them.
Yeah.
You protect their weaknesses and you show their positives.
Yeah.
Well, WWE are not protecting Roman's weaknesses and they're not showing his positives.
I think it's fair to say his booking has not been clever.
That's not Roman's fault.
No, I'm not saying it's Roman's fault. I'm not saying anything is Roman's fault. The main thing I'm saying is I just don't see him as... I don't see him as the best in-ring wrestler or the best talker.
I'd say he's the most consistent in-ring wrestler.
But why should that be enough to be
He's not a very good talker. But this goes back to the same argument I've been making to you over and over again. Name somebody that you put in his position and I'll shut up.
Well, I can't. You know I
can't. Well, there you go.
You know I can't.
So Roman is the face for a reason.
Okay, because of desperation.
It's not desperation.
Well, because there's no one else.
Because there's no one else. Nobody's jumped up. And also, I've noticed in WWE in general, the heels are flourishing. The faces are not happening.
Well, there's not many faces around anymore.
Maybe
Everyone's
that's
either heel or tweener.
Maybe that's a sign of the times.
I think it is.
Maybe faces don't work anymore.
I think it's the world we live in now.
So Roman is the closest you're going to get to a face.
Because that's what I was saying. We were laughing about it. That Sami Zayn is the only pure babyface before he had his heel turn. He was the only pure babyface really around.
Yeah.
And he was getting shit on.
Maybe you don't even you don't even have a problem with Roman so much as where the business is now.
Yeah, I think the face heel divide is where it needs to go, in a way.
AJ at the moment, AJ is one of the few guys I can think of that really pulls off the face.
But he's been switching face heel every couple of months.
I think he's better as a face.
Yeah. He always has been.
Finn has completely lost steam.
Exactly.
Joe's a heel.
Sammy's got his push because he turned heel.
Ambrose, I think they dropped the ball on. He could have been a really good face. Like, down the line, I would have built Ambrose to the sky, built Roman to the sky, and they would have become my John Cena, Randy Ortons.
Yeah.
Although, almost kind of, I would have switched it around a bit, because Roman would have been my heel, but he would have been my John Cena, because Ambrose could never be a John Cena.
No.
He'd be like the Orton type.
Yeah, no.
But those would have been my main two.
Okay.
Which is why I like the Shield.
Maybe the problem with me lies in that I never got on the bandwagon of the Shield.
I think it's a fantastic gimmick. And it's the classic, what I said about Paul Heyman. They hide their weaknesses and showcase their positives. That's what the Shield was about. You had the technician, the brawler, and the badass.
Yeah.
And once you split them all apart, it didn't work, which is why they've all come back together again.
Yeah.
Because WWE have realised that they're experimenting.
They're better as a
unit. So I'm resting my case there. I think I've made a convincing argument.
I just think Braun should be face of the company.
Yeah, but why would Braun be face of the company? Braun's your monster. Braun's your monster. You are not subjective. You are not objective.
No, I'm trying to be. But and my main point and argument is that I don't think Roman is the best in ring, and he's not the best on the mic, and all of the faces of the company have either been either one. At no point have they ever been both.
Yeah, but if you go through it, you can't really have a work rate guy as your face.
No, most of the faces of the company have been good talkers,
and your best,
which is why Roman Reigns feels a bit odd.
Your best promo guy is Enzo.
Wow, he's not face of the company. No way.
No, but he's your best promo.
Oh, we had the Miz.
He's a heel.
He can't.
I'm literally about to say, it's upsetting to me that Miz never had his long reign of being top heel. Like,
he could come back to that again.
Like your Orton or your Batista.
We're slowly
like
getting to
he
that.
never had that moment where he was the top heel guy.
How old is he? Has he got long left?
Mid to late 30s, I think. He's not.
Yeah, so
he's not that old.
So he's got a while left because they're slowly. Last couple of years, they're slowly getting him to that stage where he is. Well, I mean, I'd consider him now as the biggest heel.
He is the biggest, but he's not the top.
No, but he is. He's the heel that gets the most heat.
I think Jinder's the top heel.
Yeah, but fuck Jinder.
Yeah, no. Oh, well, that'll be next week.
That's next week's topic.
Nah, Jinder is a nice experiment, and Jinder works extremely hard, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No. Whereas The Miz has almost, he took his fumble from the top, and now he's very slowly and naturally become pretty much the biggest heel on the product.
They trusted him against Cena for the engagement ring thing.
Yeah.
Final thoughts from Roman? Have I convinced you?
Not really. You've convinced me that, he's okay as a transitional top bill. I don't think he's going to be able to last there a long time.
I don't think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
No.
I didn't think John Cena was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
But the thing is, I'm thinking in 20 years' time, I don't think we're going to look back and say, who was the best wrestlers of all time? Hulk, Austin, Cena, Rock. I don't think Roman is going to be in that category.
That depends if... I would say it's crunch time now. It's getting to the point where it's make or break.
But he's going to be...
This has been an experiment for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Now this is the point where you've beat the fucking Undertaker.
Yeah.
You either need to completely step up or step back and let somebody else take over.
And that step up will be beating Brock at Mania.
Next year will be very interesting because I think this is Roman's year, whether he makes it or fucks it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Alright, we'll see what happens. This weekend is going to be a busy weekend of wrestling.
Fantastic.
Pay-per-view weekend, both Ring of Honor and SmackDown. So next week's feature will be just our reviews of 2 pay-per-views.
I will try and watch Ring of Honor. I can't promise anything.
Plus there's also some exciting UFC that's going to take up our time.
Yeah, Lawler vs. Dos Anjos.
That'll be fun.
That would be cool.
So we'll see what's up next week.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a...
Clash of the Titans, I think... Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions.
I think I'm looking forward to it's the least looking forward to show I've had in a very long time.
That's not promising.
I think I'll probably be spending more of my time on UFC this weekend.
Alright.
I will watch the show though.
Okay.
We will have a
We
review.
have to.
You remember when this used to be fun?
A couple of weeks ago. Okay, and then you're going to return with your On This Day.
I will be coming back with my On This Day.
Are you going to unlock anything else from the vault?
I might well unlock something else from the vault, but who knows what it's going to be?
Who knows?
It might be a tournament, it might be a pay-per-view, it might be one match, it might be a wrestler.
It's a surprise.
Who cares?
It's a surprise. And then
I meant who knows?
Who cares? I have some more fun news for you, and I'm gonna better list it up this time.
You're gonna better list it up. I hope you better list it up than that sentence.
I'm going to better format my news next week.
Okay,
so that
looking forward to it.
So that we end up on the best stories than the
You
sad
got any
one.
other segments coming up?
Yeah, we'll check in with Billy Corgan as well.
Alright,
Yeah.
checking in with Billy Corgan.
And then our feature is the pay-per-views. So that's it.
This has been the smooth tones of Basil and Benito.
Yeah.
Wishing you a good day.
We've botched up another podcast.
Nice.
Alright, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.